the bottles getting empty, up the cracking, we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, March 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio, 24 hours before the tip-off of the round of 64 in March Madness action. Very, very exciting. We're coming off a big day. You know, I made up for my debacle in NHL on Saturday and more. 5-1 plus 4.32 units. Huge day. NCAA 3-2 plus 0.8 units. Exact same thing we did on Saturday. That's fine. I definitely felt like I left money on the table with Eastern Washington, not taking Toledo first half. I've said this for years, and I just don't know why I don't follow through with it. And maybe we can do it today. But, if I took Toledo plus 6 and Hofstra plus 6. Why not just add money line on both of those spots? I probably should have. That would have changed a lot of what happened yesterday. But 3-2 plus 0.8 units, I'll take it. I'll take that day in and day out. And then NBA was poor. 2 wins, 4 losses, down 2.45 units. I went 11-2 last week. It's been a bad season. I wasn't able to carry the momentum on. We have Billy Brisbane joining us for NBA later in the show, so I hope to be able to attack it then. So a good day overall, though. 10-7 plus 2.67 units in the black, stacking cash. We have huge things going on. First off, our big March Madness contest is up and Adam on our website. We had 20 people buy in yesterday. We're hoping for at least 100. I want to give a bunch of them shouts out. So at this point today, you're going to see a list of everybody who's in the contest. And then at tip-off, you'll be able to click on that person. There'll be a leaderboard, and you'll see their bracket. You won't be able to see their bracket until tip-off game 1, West Virginia, Maryland, of which I'm leaning towards West Virginia in. I'd like to give a shout-out to those of you who have are rolling with us in the tournament. Pistol Pete, Low Shack, Smith Legacy, Alex Hills, Res Mob, Nasty Nate, Kev Reed, Moxie, Preston, Kyle Bird, Dylan Slaughter, Nadibo 11, Dana Delp, Lache, Mario Rodriguez, Buck Nasty, Rushia, Jimmy the Bag, and of course, Mama Bag wanted to take your money as well. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for signing up. I'm going to be talking about the contest throughout the next month, toasting the leaders, roasting the losers. So thank you to that group that have already signed up. Again, top 3 payout, 60%, 30%, 10%. And that's it. Even if we have 100 people in, we really want to pay out the winners. So I'm really excited. Also, in 8 days, Gokster and I will be heading to the airport at 4 or 5 in the morning, drunk, ready for San Antonio. So I'm so excited about that. We're 8 days away from heading to San Antonio. That's the situation here. The most important situation, though, is, I was pretty, I don't want to say, in despair or anything like that, but I got used to succeeding last year. We had 10 straight winning months. It felt really good. Huge winning year. And then this year didn't get off to a good start. I said we have to start stacking winning weeks. Last week was a great winning week. This week we're on our way for another great winning week. The stakes are high. I need to keep winning. I want to keep winning. I need my bankroll right. So let's continue from where we left off. One of the reasons why we're succeeding is the great cappers in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. We got Dante Mack ready to go. Adam Fitzgerald says, morning, everyone. Let's make some money. Andre Ace High says, yo, is the Minnesota Wild winning day or what? Asking for a DJ that doesn't bet hockey. I'll tell you what, Andre. I came so close to betting the Blues. I couldn't pull the trigger. Maybe once we talk it out here on the show, I'll be able to. But, man, did I come close to betting the Blues. In fact, I even thought about betting all 4 dogs today on the NHL card. I only moved on the Sabres, but I came very close to betting the Blues. Dan Kelly in the house. Thankfully, I added that Blazers team total under at the end of the day to get that cash. I know that you took it, and then you also took the alternate line. And, man, when they hit that bucket for 107, I was like, oh, God, I wanted you to catch that alternate line too. But great call. There's Ryan Mueller ready to get to work. Justin McElvey, James S., Ron Crawford, Lucci Mello. And there we go. NHL spreadsheet play today is Buffalo. I love seeing that. We don't even know if Ovi's going to be in the lineup, but there's more going on in that game than that. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today that's locked and loaded here. Thank you for sharing that with me. Subhuman Gaucho ready to get to work. Rocco and NCAA spreadsheet play today is Arizona State on the money line. Let's copy and paste that here. That's going to be a fun one. 9:10 p.m. Eastern, Nevada, Arizona State for the play-in game. AOD ready to get to work. RVD 420 series business. Mikey P, Ronnie Lofton, Lucas Ryan. Clint says, how about those Yotes? I don't know why I look, I wasn't on the Flames. We'll go over what happened in NHL last night. But I keep saying over and over again how much value there is in the Yotes, and I didn't bet them, but I was thinking of you. There's Nasty Nate. He is going to be competing with us in our March Madness contest, and he's going to be partying with us in San Antonio in 8 days. Armchair MMA went 5-2. Love seeing that. North Ender says, how we feeling about those Lakers futures? Good. Are we going to make money on them today? That's the question. Slatsy says, good morning on Sabres moneyline plus 102, and so is everyone else, which is a concern. Yeah. That's fine. But I get it. I get it. Slatsy says, beautiful. Let's keep Bedard out of the desert. Yes. Tyrone Coleman, ready to get to work. Andre Ace High says, Buck Nasty is the greatest name. Yes, our guy Buck Nasty. He's a real deal. He's a real deal. I hung out with him in Costa Rica, and I remember saying to him, we've been drinking. I was with his wife, and I was like, so I mean, Buck Nasty? There's no, he's like, no, call me Buck Nasty. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Buck Nasty it is. I won't bring it up again. Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Yes, I sent Mikey D a message this morning. Heartbreaking. One of our brothers, Mikey D, who is a very close friend of the squad here. I'll move this out of the way. Had his brother die yesterday. Very young, 45 years old, unexpectedly. So prayers out to your family, Mikey D, and sending you strength and love. Your family's very lucky to have your strong shoulders to carry them through this extremely difficult time. And, there's not really much anybody can say other than, we love you. But there's not much anyone can say. Life is just unrelenting. It'll just keep hammering you, and with no compassion at all. Life just keeps going on. Doesn't give a fuck. Oh, did we make it 8 minutes? Yes. Okay. So there. All we could say is that we love you, and that we're always going to be here for you, and your family's very lucky to have you help get them through that. So. Not much else other than that. But thank you, Guillermo, for mentioning that. Keep Mikey D in your prayers. Andre Ace High says, Arizona State better bring it today. Diehard MMA says, Clayton Keller is a monster. There's Joey Harb giving out that love. Sweaty Butcher ready to go. Billy Friedrich saying, Jimmy seen the NHL board well. I have been on the show, but Saturday going 0-4 was just a punch in the gut, Billy. Right when I was like, okay, I'm rolling, I'm seeing things clearly, it was a punch in the gut. Sometimes you need that. Sweaty Butcher had a huge night last night. DC Capper Liberty -4 and under 136 was a thing of beauty. D Jenkins, Sean Pulliam, Slatsy. What a great group. Cashman, you've capped with Mikey D for a long time. So yeah. So a lot of difficulty. Domi Gunricci crushing the card yesterday. I love that. There's Rez Mob. Shout out to Rez Mob. He's in our contest, Cappers contest. Sweaty Butcher had a monster night last night. Also at Blackhawks Moneyline Live at plus 325. There is BJ. Let's get to work. So we're going into NHL. Again, my producer, our producer, Jose Bouquet. This isn't my show. It's our show. Jose Bouquet is in Miami for the World Baseball Classic, so I'll be handling things here. So, that's what I didn't do yesterday. I didn't do the timestamps. Okay. My apologies. Oh God, I can't believe I didn't do the timestamps. I'm just so caught up in everything. So my bad. I should do the timestamps today. That was a problem. But I will be moving here through NCAA action, NHL action, and NBA action. So we are starting with NHL action. Let's get to work. Slatsy says, Domi, great call on the Rangers game. Yeah, man, that was a gift, an absolute gift, man. So 5-1 yesterday, plus 4.32 units in NHL. Hurricanes minus 1.5 a cash. I hope I got some of you guys off the under in that game. I hope I did. What I should have done is just bet the over as another signal. But I understood, the Hurricanes have been shut out twice in a row. I get it. Rangers minus 1 cash are comfortable. Tampa Bay, New Jersey under 6.5. I told you guys that was my favorite bet on the board. And it was 4-1 going to the third period. Now it's a 4-1 final, but could have gone the other way. Washington, New York Rangers over 6 was a cash. Vegas, Philly under 6, my lone loss, and Kings minus 1 at plus 117, a very easy, comfortable cash. There's Jeffrey Blue says, my son will be born in a week or two, and we'll be closing on a nice house with creek in the back in 3 weeks. Life is crazy. That's wonderful news. Absolutely wonderful news. Slatsy says, any thoughts on Briere's kid? What a disgrace. Slatsy, I don't know that story. Man, maybe focusing on the hardcourt a little too much. I will copy and paste that, Slatsy. Is he one of the guys that got bounced? I don't think so. He wasn't playing for. He's not in the WHL, right? What was it? Moose Jaw? Was it Moose Jaw? Just cut 5 players at the end of the season. I'm gonna copy and paste that here. I'll look into that, Slatsy. My bad for not knowing what's going on there. Great news, Jeffrey Blue. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get to work. And when I hear about Jeffrey Blue, I can't help but think about the cycle of life. When we talk about what Mikey D is going through, and then what Jeffrey Blue is going through, and there's going to be dark times and there's going to be bright times, and the most important thing is to be there for your friends through both. One of the things that happens in life is that people seem to only want to reach out to people, when they're succeeding, or it's the opposite. You'll have people who only reach out to people they care about when they're struggling, when they're losing. They don't share the good times with you, only the tough times. It's just life is tough, and we just have to be there for each other through highs, through lows, because they're both on the horizon. Let's get to work here. NHL, 7 p.m. Eastern. We start with the Colorado Avalanche, 37-22-6, 19-11-1 on the road. At the Toronto Maple Leafs, 40-18-8, 24-7-4 at home. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Walla Dose in the house. There's car life of Von Polo. He's liking Buffalo tonight too. Von Polo was very irritated for how long we were talking about NHL yesterday. So I guess he didn't make $900 on NHL last night, but now he wants to talk NHL. There's a reason why we talk NHL. Von Polo. Markel, a DC Capper, Walla Dose, Razor Sharp picks. Alexander Georgiev in net, supposed to be in net for Colorado. 29-14-5, 2.65 goals against average, 917 save percentage, 4 shutouts. And I love you, Von Polo, but we all made a lot of money on NHL last night, and that's why we discuss it. Ilya Samsonov on between the crease that I have him there between the pipes. 23-8-2, 2.41 goals against average, 915 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Colorado 6-3-1 over their past 10. 29.6% power play, 87.1% penalty killing. And look at Dommy Gunn says, no sport left alone. That's the low bagger way. I love that. Toronto 6-4-0 over their past 10. 29.2% power play, 80.8% penalty killing. The Avs come in off their second straight win, 8-4 at Montreal on Monday. BJ already saying that he likes Toronto here. I don't like them here, but let's just talk it out. It was a costly victory for the Avs, the 8-4 win in Montreal on Monday. They lost Arturi Lehkonen. He scored twice, the second one being his 100th career goal. He's an ex-Hab. Those Habs fans cheered for him when he scored it. And it says a lot about the Montreal fan base. Also, it says a lot about Lehkonen. And they were just, talking so highly of Lehkonen. And, of course, he breaks his finger. breaks his finger. He had 5 goals and 10 assists over his past 14 games, 4 points on the power play. He's slated to miss 4 to 6 weeks. The Leafs had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a surprise 4-3 loss at home to Buffalo on Monday night. They won the face-off battle 40-21, but were somehow outshot. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, although that's bad. I mean, you have the possession 66% of the time. And yet you get outshot. I mean, that's pretty wild. Now, Luke Shen is expected to return after the birth of his child. He's going to add toughness. Ryan O'Reilly remains out with a broken finger. So the first thought I had, when I was staring at this game was, of course, the over. I expect that the over will be in play. But then, it's a Leafs game, so the total is going to be extremely high. Also, the Avalanche are now going to be without Lehkonen. Let's take a look at the line history here on this one. We have the Leafs opening up at minus 145. They're now minus 140. They were minus 131 for a while. Look, I agree with that market move towards Colorado. I agree with it. Colorado now at plus 127. From a totals perspective, this opened up at 6.5, minus 113 to the over. It's now just minus 111 to the over. Well, I don't understand how that could be. For whatever reason, I was certain that it was up to minus 125, minus 130. Let's just see what Bet365 has us at. Minus 120. It's surprising. There's so much talent offensively on the ice. It surprises me that we're sitting at a 6.5. Jordy Nordman in the house says nothing better to listen on the drive to work. Respect my man. Get there safely, my guy. Let's get that cash. Lucas Ryan says Oilers overpaid for my month last night. Hope you all got that. Nice job, Lucas. I don't like taking over 7s, but I get it. And Von Polo said he was on the NHL place too. He made money, but okay, I like hearing that. There's Arthur Meade Jr. in the house. Great to see you, Arthur. Steve G says bad spot for Colorado. Probably take the Leafs. I guess I can't take. I agree. I think that the Leafs got a bit of a wake up call from the Sabres. At home on Monday night. I don't like doing this, but let's just look at the cash here. Because if there's a ton of cash on the over and this market isn't moving when it does seem like an over, let's just see what's going on the total. So on this total, we have 84% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the over. That's a ton of money on the over for the books not to move on it. It just feels like a very easy spot. Wow. So in saying that, why would the books not be moving this more? Let's just see what Bet365 has done with this total here. The total opened up at, they have it listed at minus 115. I mean, I just looked at it, it's minus 120. So at least they've moved it 5 cents. Wow, Slotsy says Pinnacle now at 7? No way. I'm just going to move over here very quickly. Then this must not be updating this line movement tracker. Because you're right, it has moved 5 more cents at least at 365. No, I'm right on Pinnacle right now. Pinnacle's over 6.5. Unless you're talking about Buffalo, Washington. 6.5 and minus 111. Look, I just don't understand why it's not moving. Mally Mal went 6-1 last night. I love it. Die Hard says this time of year where the teams get into playoff mode, unders will have extra value. And he's still leaning over here. So in saying all that, yeah, JT Eel, it's just because my producer is in Miami. So I'm doing this solo here. And I apologize, but there's nothing else I can tell you other than sorry, I'm doing this solo. Thank you to Arthur Meade Jr. $5 dono means the world, man. Thank you for caring about us and thinking about us and your hard-earned money. It truly does mean a ton to us. Thank you. Noah, but I hear you, JT. It's not as good. And I was supposed to do the timestamps yesterday. And I don't know what the hell happened to me after the show. I just got a little caught up and everything. Oh, Slatsy was looking at the Buffalo game. So all that being said, look, I don't usually let the market dictate things here. But clearly, these are two very high-scoring teams. I just don't understand why that 6.5 isn't minus 125 or minus 130. I can't place it. And so I don't think I'm going to move on it right now. I don't think I'm going to move on it right now. So, yeah, JT, as soon as Jose's back, we're going to be back in action. So I'm just going to leave this as a question mark on the over. And also, I do think that the Habs are playing better hockey than it looks like. So for the Habs to smoke them 8-4 in Montreal, it is pretty impressive. But Toronto got slapped in the face. They're probably going to be ready to show out here. They have nothing to play for. Colorado has a ton to play for. It does come back down to that. Let's just quickly look at the standings because I don't like saying they have nothing to play for. I still feel like you want to have Game 7 at home against the Lightning. I mean, I think that's just hugely, hugely important to have Game 7 at home. So let's just see where they are. They're 2 points ahead. Oh, but they have 2 games in hand on the Lightning. Still important, though. I love that Kongs clips. 12-1 across the board. Colorado Bull in the house. Buffalo in regulation. Thompson over 3.5 shots and Dobson over 2.5 shots. I love it. Colorado Bull, thank you for sharing that with us. Avalanche 2-7-1 to the under as away dog, says the Sweaty Butcher. And Stimmy OG's on Toronto in the under. I think you guys are very sharp, and this just seems a little too good to be true, and I'm going to stay off of it. Keep those notes there. All right. Gifted Cartel says Arizona money line over 6. First period over 1.5 came through. Nice job, Gifted Cartel. Nazim Kadri over 3.5. I think you mean shots was money last night too. Yeah, I love Kadri. I'm a big Kadri fan. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. And I've moved on it. Now, look, yes, everybody we hear is on this spot. And there's 2 big reasons why I'm on it. Let's discuss it right now. Buffalo Sabres 33-28-5, 20-10-2 on the road at Washington Capitals, 32-29-7, 15-13-4 at home. We're at Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. We've already heard from Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford is on the Buffalo Sabres as the spreadsheet play today. Now, look, all we've heard are people on Buffalo Sabres, and I can understand why that would make someone uncomfortable. Ron Crawford is joining me on the Buffalo Sabres, and we'll discuss this here in a second. But first, we give a shout-out to Ron Crawford. Dav Fenn, my guy, thank you for the very kind words. I really think the most important thing about San Antonio this trip is just so that everybody knows we're going to do it every year. I think that's the most important thing, so that everybody can plan around being in San Antonio at the end of March. I know everybody up north is going to be excited to get some warmth and sunshine. So, you know what, Dab Fen, I know we're going to get chances to hang together. So respect and love to you, man. And that's the most important thing to me, is just that everybody knows that's where we're going to be. All right. I have Craig Anderson, but I heard that Luokkanen could be in. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Dan Parlay Angel, 6-legger, damn. I'd love to hear what if you guys think it will be Craig Anderson. Mally Mal says he's going to come next year too. That I really think that's the most important thing that we did, was just show everybody that this will be a yearly thing. And that's why, because we didn't give as much notice as we would have liked to, but now everybody knows. Charlie Lindgren going to be between the pipes. He is listed here. So let's discuss what happened to Washington last night. And, of course, Ovechkin is hurt. That did come as a bit of a surprise. We didn't know that, we knew that he'd missed practice, but we certainly didn't think that he was not going to be in the lineup. But there was some real issues here. Here we go. There's Deshaun G in the house. What up, Deshaun? The Capitals, who are on the second half of a back-to-back, were out hit 30-16 in that loss. So you lose your heart and soul captain, and you show nothing against a Rangers team that doesn't have size. A Rangers team that you have to beat them up. The fact that they got outshot 30-16. So yeah, sure, they need to bounce back, but they have nothing to play for. And the Sabres have a ton to play for. The Sabres still believe they're in the race. Not only that, but the Sabres got Alex Tuch back. So Sabres snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 4-3 win at Toronto Monday. They showed a ton of heart. Tuch had 2 goals in his return from injury. He'd missed 8 games with a lower body injury. He has 6 goals in his last 6 games. This is a huge addition. Now, Mattias Samuelsson's still out. But look, the Caps showed no heart. There's our guy, Jose Bouquet, says, say, hey, Minute will be out soon. And man, is he cashing on the say hey minute. We love it, Jose. Respect. So with all that being said, look, I get that we're all on Buffalo. And let's just take a look at the cash here on this spot here. I'd be very interested on it. So let's just take a look at now we know what the money line is going to look like. It's going to be all over the Sabres. It's all over the Sabres. Look, I get it. I completely get it. I get it that is uncomforting. There has been some market movement, but probably not enough. The Sabres opened up at plus 105 at Pinnacle. They're now plus 102. Look, we have every right. You have every right to be uncomfortable. And Anderson is going to be in, says Steve G. That's what I was hoping for. I was praying that it would be Craig Anderson. So what? The Capitals didn't show any heart last night. Are they going to show heart tonight on the second half back-to-back? Probably. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. Markel going to be attending next year too. I love it. All right. So look, I moved on the Sabres at plus 100, and I can understand concern. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I came so close to moving on the Blues, and maybe I do now once we talk this out. Minnesota Wild 38-21-8, 17-11-5 on the road at St. Louis Blues, 29-32-5, 14-15-4 at home. We're at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Mally Mal said they just couldn't finish at the end. If you're talking about the Capitals, they didn't hit at all. That's the sign for me. Are you going to be able to be physical, put your body in jeopardy for a win? And why would they? Season's over for them. 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota Wild 38-21-8, 17-11-5 on the road at the Blues, 29-32-5, 14-15-4 at home at Enterprise Center. Marc-Andre Fleury listed. Jordan Binnington. Mally Mal saying Seton Hall. Okay, I feel you. So Marc-Andre Fleury, Binnington, can anybody confirm that for me? I would love that. And thank you, Steve G. He is. Fleury, 21-13-3, 2.76 goals against average, 909 Sabres Center, 2 shutouts. Binnington, 22-24-5, 3.33 goals against average, 894 Sabres Center. And the Cowboys release Zeke. Ooh, wow, that's big news. So Minnesota's rolling, right? 7-0-3. They've lost Kirill Kaprizov. So it's a lower body injury. It's possible that he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. Their power play is at 11.5% right now over the past 10 games. Watch that continue to drop. St. Louis 3-5-2, 12.5% power play, 87% penalty killing. Marcus Foligno, Brandon Duhaime also out. So is Jonas Brodin. He's been out for a little while. Mally Mousy and Gustafson. But Slatsy has Fleury confirmed, so we'll take that to the bank. So they're also still hoping that newly acquired Gustav Nyquist will make his debut with the team before the regular season ends. He's dealing with an upper body injury. The Blues had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 5-3 loss at home to Vegas on Sunday, but we've seen what the Vegas Knights, much to my chagrin, have been doing on the road. They're just winning and winning and winning. They've won 4 straight after that loss to Florida. So that's not that bad of a situation. I want the Blues so bad, and I've been afraid to bet it. And I know the scared money and all that. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have the Blues opening up at plus 130. They got down to plus 117 at 8 this morning. They're back at plus 120. At Bet 365, they opened up at plus 130. They're at plus 120. That's what I was offered. Unfortunately, I got in a little late because even up until 8:30 in the morning, you could get that plus 130. I'm surprised. BJ says complete backwood game. Thank God. I love it. There's Tom Miggins in the house. Sweaty Butcher said Blues 3-10 straight up off a loss last 13. Sweaty Butcher, how many of those games have been at home? I think that's imperative in this. You guys remember 2.5 weeks ago, the Devils, who didn't have Timo Meier in the lineup at that point, and they were also missing Hughes. And I said, these guys play each other 100 times. I think the Blues win 48 or 49 of them. We got the Blues at plus 120 or plus 130 in that, and they won very easily. I'm going to have to do here. There's Ick Schnizzle in the house. Great to see you, Ick Schnizzle. His NBA plays today. I'm going to copy and paste that. Look, okay, I've said enough. I have to move on them. I have to move on the Blues here. Their opportunity to step up in the Wild wake. Look, the Wild are a better hockey team even without Kaprizov. But now at home in St. Louis for the Blues at home, I guess I'm just going to have to eat the L if it comes my way. I can't be scared of backing a dog here. 2-6 straight up at home off a loss in that 13 game span. Thank you, Sweaty Butcher. Maybe this is set up for me to lose, but I'm going to add the Blues here. I'm going to add the Blues. So the Blues will be added to my card, and I guess I just had to talk it out to have enough confidence on it. All right, let's move on. Bless him, don't stress him. Ich schnizzle. Let's move on to the final game on the card before we get into college ball. College ball here. Next up for us, New York Islanders, 34, 27-8, 14, 15-5 on the road. Anaheim Ducks, 22, 35-10, 11, 16-3 at home at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Semyon Varlamov against Gibson. Varlamov, 11-8-2, 2.79 goals against average, 9-10 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Gibson, Dre Maki, what's up, my man? Got Dre in the house. John Gibson, 14, 24-8, 3.85 goals against average, 903 save percentage, 1 shutout. Islanders are 6-3-1 over their past 10, but I don't really like the way they've been playing. I had the Kings -1 yesterday with confidence. They have 11.5% power play over their past 10 games, 86.2% penalty killing. I mean, you can always count on that from the Islanders. Anaheim 5-2-3 over their past 10, 11.5% power play, 70.4% penalty killing. Take a look at the line history here. This wasn't as hard to not bet, but you give me a free bet, I'm certainly on the Ducks in this spot. I'm not going to do that. The Islanders still have a lot to play for. Ducks open up at +159, now at +163. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6, -117 to the under. It's now -116 to the under. I don't want unders in Ducks games. So, Razor Sharp Picks says if anyone wants a cash it shirt like Jimmy's wearing, check out pubsportsradio.com and check out the merch. Respect, Razor. I can't wear your cash it hat with the green screen because it's got the green underneath here. So, sadly, I haven't been rocking it. Clint says Islanders own the Ducks. Islanders off a loss. Give me -1.5. I've not been impressed with what I'm seeing. Islanders are on the second half of back-to-back. They opened up this 3-game California road trip with a 5-2 loss to the Kings last night. This is a crucial win for them tonight if they can get it. Barzal is a huge loss. Huge loss because they have a bunch of pluggers. They need a pass-first offensive weapon like what they thought Bailey was or what Bailey was a couple years ago. Otto Koivula and right winger Oliver Wahlstrom remain out for the Islanders. Ducks coming off their third loss in 4 games, 5-4 in overtime at home to the Predators on Sunday night. Adam Henrique is out. That hurts. It hurts just because they would have traded him at the deadline if he's healthy. He's been pretty good this year, accountable, scoring goals. I believe he's 19 goals on the year. Euro Vakanainen and Jamie Drysdale, defensemen, are also out for the Ducks. Clint says Varlamov and net, never mind, take the over. Deshaun G says Ducks live dog. Yeah, the 1.5 is -160. I would not promote that spot personally, Deshaun G. I have a rule about never turning a dog into a favorite. Now, if you're going to use that +1.5 in like a parlay piece, then I get it. There's Dana Delp in the house. Dana Delp in our Cappers contest as well. Shout out to Dana Delp in the house. Earl Sports Bets, Avalanche +127, Leafs team total under 3.5, Wild -140, and Islanders -1 at -119 for Earl Sports Bets. Kong's Clips moved on the Ducks. Rocky Meniketti, my pleasure, my man. Nice, wonderful day in NHL last night. 4.32 units. Mountain Mouse with Kings -1 was nice last night. It was very easy. So I'm going to move on the Blues at home. And I'm already on Buffalo. I understand that there's concern that everybody's on Buffalo. I get it. Dan Kelly says if he ever does a betting show, he's going to get a green screen, wear a green bodysuit, and call it Picks by the Floating Head. And trademarking that idea. I like it. All right. So there you have it. That's it for me in NHL. I'm going to add the Blues at +120. Have the Sabres at +100. I hope that Ovechkin doesn't return to the lineup. Nice job, Deshaun G. Nice job picking that hit 11 pick last night. It's got to pay out monstrous. All right, let's move on to NCAA basketball. I certainly felt like I left money on the table yesterday. Mississippi State, Pittsburgh over 133 was a loss. Hofstra +6, they went outright. I don't know why I didn't also add the money line. Toledo +6. It was a tight game, and Pete cashed the first half. Yale, Vanderbilt, first half under 69 at -110. And Seton Hall, Colorado, under 135, -110, both cashed. There's Big Ragu in the house. UCF, -1.5, and team total under 71.5. Is that right? Big Ragoo, great to see you. Can't wait to hang out with you in San Antone. UCF -1.5 and team total under. Wow, North Ender says my brother hit 11 team parlay 2 days ago, $1 into 1,800. Dan Kelly says I was so pissed I didn't play Eastern Washington money line. Yeah, I think we talk about it so often. I guess we didn't talk about it right before before yesterday. We didn't talk about it before, so it wasn't really in my head, but that certainly bothered me. All right, let's get to work here in college basketball and Florida Gators. So he's on Florida -1.5 and UCF under. So Florida -1.5, UCF under 71.5. I'm going to copy and paste this right now. Let's get to work in college basketball. The most exciting time of the year is here. March Madness waits. Now, for me, it's the Breeders' Cup in horse racing, but I digress. Let's get to work. March Madness is here. Please welcome the star of our college basketball programming here on Pub Sports Radio. This is his season to shine, but we're almost rolling into MLB, which is also his season to shine. So he just shines year round. Please welcome the Magic Man, Dabra Kadabra, to the show. Dabby, what's up, man?
Yo, Jimmy, I felt the same way, man. I felt like I left some money on the table, but we've got so much basketball coming up. We got to just keep our heads clear. We got to stay focused.
Yeah, and look, in the end, I was like, look, I'll take every 3 and 2 day, whatever that happens. So let's get to work here. Razor says, pissed I didn't bet against Nova yesterday. I knew that was a trap. Steve G says, Michigan struggling in the NIT tournament, priceless. BJ says he's off work today, so we're firing away. Let's get right to work, Daby Cab. And thankfully, we have... If you hear my children screaming, I apologize. It is spring break here.
We don't hear them.
Okay, good. Okay, let's get to work here. Let me move over to college basketball. Yeah, move over here. And we are going to start with the play-in games. East Region first 4. Let me move this over to college basketball. My fault. I should have had this set up earlier while we were discussing. Let's go. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Number 16 seed, Fairleigh Dickinson Knights. We talked all about it through the NEC conference tournament. Merrimack wasn't eligible for the tourney, and it seemed set up for Fairleigh Dickinson throughout. They went 19-15 on the year at Texas Southern Tigers, who had a very interesting route to this game. 7-11 in conference play, but took it all the way to the SWAC conference championship. Let's take a look at the line history here. Certainly have a team running hot right now in Texas Southern. Texas Southern at Pinnacle opening up at -2, -108. That's where they are right now, -2, -111. Let's go over to Bet Online. At Bet Online, opening up at -2.5, -110. And it got up to 3. There was the very first move was towards Fairleigh Dickinson to 2. Then it got up to 3. It was at 3 around midnight. It stayed to 3 until, stayed to 3 until just a few minutes ago. Oh, no. That's a day and a half old. So then it moved to -2.5. And then just a few minutes ago, it moved to minus. I take that back. Sorry. Looking at the dates wrong. Last night, it moved to -2. And then this morning, back to 2.5. That's where we stand at Bet Online. Totals wise, it's opened up at 146.5. It's now at 147. It got down to 145 and up as high as 147.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. The cash flow in this spot, we have 72% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on Texas Southern. So some of the bigger bets are coming in on Fairleigh. Take a look at the total. This total has 53% of the tickets and 62% of the cash on the under. It's quite a bit of money on the under early. So let's go. Mally Mal said, who had the $5,000 when he woke day? Our guy Kyle Hintlian cashing that on Corpus Christi. And, he's not here. He's probably just, somewhere incredible, I'm guessing right now. Fairleigh Dickinson comes in off losing the final of the NEC conference tournament, 67-66 at Merrimack as 4.5-point dogs. Again, they didn't have to win it. They fought hard in that game. Texas Southern comes in off its third straight win. They defeated Grambling in the SWAC Conference Final, 61-58, 3-point dogs. Grambling led the conference with a 15-3 record, and Texas Southern was just 7-11 in conference play, but getting hot at the right time. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, East Region, first four, Fairleigh Dickinson, Texas Southern.
Yeah, this is one where, you look at just like the numbers and stuff. I think you could easily say you want to take Dickerson, but there's more to this game. Texas Southern, they're only shooting 42.7%. They're only averaging 4.8 threes per game on 28.4% shooting from beyond the arc, which is 361st in the nation. They're only 333rd. That's hard to say. 333rd in the nation in field goal or free throw percentage, only hitting 66.1% of their free throws. Where you look on the other side, the Knights are 42nd in scoring offense, averaging 77.8 points per game. They're pulling down 34.2 boards, so they're a little above average there. And my favorite thing is they're averaging 15 assists per game, which is 52nd in the country. I always talk about it. I like teams that move the ball around. And this is a team also hitting 8.1 threes per game at a 34.6% clip. So all that being said, you look at these numbers, it looks like you want to take the Knights here. I don't. Something tells me that Texas Southern got hot at the right time. And they're not a team I want to mess with here. This is all gut. Like I said, you look at the numbers here, it says to take the Knights. I feel like Texas Southern is going to win this game, so I'm not betting it.
I get that Texas Southern got hot at the right time. Who do you think would win if Merrimack played Grambling? I think Merrimack.
Yeah, probably.
I think that the fact that Fairleigh Dickinson lost to Merrimack is possibly playing a role in this line. In fact, I do. I think the fact that they lost in the conference tournament final and Texas Southern getting hot at the right time, I'm starting to lean towards Fairleigh Dickinson. I mean, if you're telling me that from an X's and O's perspective, statistically, that the Knights should be the play, and I sit here and see, I'm sure people lost, betting on Grambling. Often when we have a situation like when you're losing a bet and the team that you're losing to sticks in your head, you want to back them immediately. I think that could be in play. Even against Alabama A&M. I mean, I know Texas Southern were 3.5 point favorites there, but that was 28-28 at halftime. Who do you guys in the Johnny Gunn says Texas Southern could be overconfident? There's DJ Big Boss now. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. Who do you think would win between Merrimack and Grambling? I think Merrimack was a good basketball team. Not that Grambling wasn't. 15-3 in the conference. Also, what conference do you think is tougher between the NEC and the SWAC? Because I kind of lean towards the NEC there, and maybe I'm wrong. We got DJ saying Grambling, Christopher Comtine saying Merrimack. Which conference do you think is the tougher conference? NEC and SWAC.
Shit, I haven't. I guess I'd go with the NAC probably.
Gifted Cartel says Grambling hands down. You're a good man, Rocky. Love you, man. So with Rocky, you got to come down to San Antonio, man. Hop in the truck and head down to San Antonio. Okay, well, I guess I'll just leave it as a lean towards Fairleigh Dickinson. Earl Sports says SWAC, but these are the two worst conferences in college basketball.
Right. That's when you ask me, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, who's better out of the worst? Like, I'm sitting there thinking, who's the best of the worst here?
And J Dub saying SWAC. Okay, I don't know. We'll see how much action that we have. No need to force things. Rocky said I was thinking about going a little bit of a drive, but I'd love to do it. We'll be doing it every year, Rocky. But I got to hang out with Rocky in Vegas at the IFBC. So Johnny Gunn says I actually think the under is the play in this game. Let's take a look at that total here. We have 53% of the tickets, 63% of the cash on the under. And the early action was towards the under, went down to 145, has come back up to 147.5. I think, wow. And so DC Capper is UCF +4 in that spot. And Noli Knows says yes under. I think that I almost would prefer. We're talking Fairleigh Dickinson, Texas Southern. I would almost prefer a first half under.
You catch that our guy Noli came in here and said that a game was 7 points too high yesterday, and that game finished exactly 7 points too high.
He saved me $150.
There you go, Noli. Good shit, my guy.
That was a spectacular capping from our Noli Knows.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm certainly not going to bet Texas Southern here. I really think that there is a recency bias, but sure, you could all say they're getting hot at the right time. All right, let's move on. Move on to 9:10 p.m. Eastern. Nevada Wolfpack, the 11th seed Nevada Wolfpack, 22-10 versus the 11th seed Arizona State Sun Devils. We're in Dayton, Ohio for the play-in game. Now, Ron Crawford has already given us Arizona State money line. Let's take a look at the line history for this one and then move in. Here we go. So line history-wise, pops off at 9:30. We've had a move towards Arizona State, and that makes sense to me. Arizona State opening up at -1.5, now -2. They got up to 2.5 immediately. It's come back. That's at Pinnacle. Let's take a look at Bet Online. Bet Online, this opens up at -1. It's right now at -2. From a total perspective, this opened up at 134.5. It got down to 133.5 again. The initial action for both of these playing games was towards the under, and then it kind of moved up towards the over late with public action. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this. We have on the total 66% of the tickets and 74% of the cash on the over. So the initial action, you can deem it sharper if you want. Sometimes, I do, was on the under, and then public comes in and hits the over. Let's take a look at the spread here. From a spread perspective, we have, here we go. 76% of the tickets and 79% of the cash is on Arizona State. Is there enough of a market move towards Arizona State to say that the books are a little concerned? Jean Perez says the Nevada versus Arizona is a straight pick 'em. Whichever offense shows up will win the game, but both defenses are terrible. Great job, Jimmy Gomez, saying the live sweat had a huge night last night. I love it. Great job. Tuesday nights, Jimmy Gomez, Nick Schnizzle rocked the live sweat. BJ says Backwood, I don't trust Arizona State. So personally, for me, look, Nevada comes off its third straight loss, 81-77 in overtime to San Jose in the Mountain West quarters as 3.5-point favorites. Arizona defeated Oregon State and USC before succumbing to Arizona 78-59 in the Pac-12 semis at 7.5-point dogs. I want Arizona State here.
I do too,
I think
but
Nevada has looked worse. I mean, it's easy to say with 3 and losing streak, but losing to San Jose State in the Mountain West quarters, Arizona State beat a good USC team before getting slapped in the face by Arizona. Billy Brisbane, who's going to be joining us for NBA, says that Arizona State 6th in the nation in 2-point defense. Big Master says, I told you LA Lakers trifecta spot last night. I'm going to go again and say it again. Trifecta spot again. There's our guy Julian Cesario in the house. DJ Big Boss ready to go. Jimmy Gomez shouting out Kyle Hindley for the Texas A&M Corpus Christi call. J-Dub says Nevada is hot garbage. So take it away for us, Daby Cab. Nevada Wolfpack, Arizona State Sun Devils.
Okay, when I look at this, I haven't bet this one yet. I've only got one bet today, but I might bet this one. And I've got 2 that I'm going to add for tomorrow. I've got a load of fucking bets tomorrow and Friday, Jimmy. But look, this Arizona team, when we're touching on their defense, they're allowing 67.7 points per game. So that's 108th. So they're definitely above average in defense. But my problem with this Wolfpack team is they have a solid trio on offense that are all averaging double digits. And then you look at some of the numbers here. Arizona State plays pretty aggressive. They're committing 18.5 fouls per game, and that's going against a Nevada team. And I know this is a weird stat, but this is going to come into play. I know it is. This Nevada team, they're forcing 19.4 fouls per game, and they're 4th in the nation in free throw percentage, hitting 79.1% of their free throws. And this is one of those games where, even the line's telling us it's going to be close. Everything's saying it's going to be close. And free throws are going to be important in a game like that, especially a team that can get to the line and shoot those free throws. Now, all that being said, this has been almost like a fairy tale season for Arizona State. And to be honest, if USC would have shown up, Arizona State wouldn't be here. If USC would have played a better game, which I just don't think they really gave a shit about that game when I watched it. If USC plays better, Arizona State's not here. if you want to look too into some of these players know each other pretty well, which is, that's interesting to me. The Sun Devils, they got the Lucas, because he's going to be familiar. Then you've got Cambridge and Washington. They're going to know Alfred on Nevada. These teams have a lot of history when you look into it. Alford, sorry, I said Alfred. But I like Arizona State here. This game's just too tough for me to cap. It's going to come down to the wire, I feel like. And if it comes down to the wire, I don't want a team going against a team that shoots 80% on free throw line.
Stimmy OG on Nevada 2.5 too. Okay, I guess I'll stay off. But I certainly was leaning towards Arizona State.
I was too. I had a heavy lean towards Arizona State in this game.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it off. Unfortunately, I mean, do I leave off both Fairleigh and Arizona State as my leans and only take that first half under in Fairleigh, Texas Southern? Also, DJ Big Boss on the over. Gifted Cartel says everybody riding Arizona State makes them want to take Nevada money line. We certainly have more people on Nevada here in the chat.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like I see Nevada more than Arizona State.
Yeah, but he's right. 76% of the tickets, 79% of the cash out of 32,000 tickets. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to leave question marks beside Arizona State. All right. Let's roll on. The only bet I know I'm making then at this point is the first half under in Fairleigh Dixon, Texas Southern. Okay, let's move on. We start with NIT action at 7 p.m. Eastern, and our Big Ragu in Kong's Clips is on Nevada as well. Big Ragu leading us into this. Big Ragu, of course, in Ocala, Florida. We have UCF Knights 18-14, 4-6 on the road this year. At the Florida Gators, 16-6, 10-5 at home this year. And Big Ragu is on Florida and the UCF team total under. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have a huge, huge move towards UCF. Huge. At Pinnacle, let's skip Pinnacle because that's not how big the move is, because Pinnacle obviously opened the line up later. Actually, it's a little different. I guess maybe it's worth talking about because it's a little different. So over at Pinnacle, it opened up at +4. It's now at +2.5. Just constant move towards UCF. At Bet Online, this opened up at 5, but it's at 3. So this got down to 2 yesterday evening at 5:43 p.m. and it's come back a point towards Florida. Obviously, the question will be motivation, but you think with two Florida teams battling here that Florida will try here. You would think this total has shot nothing but up. Opened up at 140 at Bet Online. On Monday at 10:05 a.m. It's now at 145 and juiced to the over. So a huge move to Florida, a huge move to UCF. BJ says no Castleton, no bet for him. Julian Cesario on Gators money line. Mally Mal leaning to UCF half and full game. Let's take a look here. And the cash-wise for this spot, we have 57% of the tickets and 79% of the cash on UCF. That's all very explanatory there. Then from a total side of things, we have 28% of the tickets and 57% of cash on the under. I guess some cappers deeming it's just gone too high because it is at 145.5 at a bunch of books, but it's trying to catch a falling sword sort of thing. Steph Brosco says this is Big Brother versus Lil Brother. Take it away for us. Oh, sorry. UCF defeated SMU before losing 81-76 to Memphis in the AAC quarters as 5.5-point dogs. And look, Memphis went on to win it. Florida comes in off that 69-68 overtime loss to Mississippi State in the SEC second round as 5-point dogs. Take it away for us here at Daby Cab, UCF, Florida Gators.
Yeah, this is we keep saying big brother, little brother, whatnot. I mean, I would think that UCF should be pumped for this game. And I don't know about Florida. They're going in without Castleton. No big school has goals of playing in the NIT tournament. That's not something that anybody's going to be proud of. You look at this Gators team putting up 72.1 points per game, 218th in the country, doing it on 44.1% shooting from the field, 32.4% from three. But with Castleton out, Will Richards leads them scoring, and he's only putting up 10.6 points per game. That's just tough for me when your leading scorer is only putting up 10.6 points per game. Now on defense, Florida's been good. So I do understand the team total underlook that Big Ragu's going with. They're 48th in the country, allowing 68.6 points per game. But when we look deeper into UCF, I know that we know Florida's in the SEC, so they're in the bigger conference and whatnot. But UCF didn't have a cakewalk non-conference. Non-conference, they have wins over FSU, which I know is a down year, but still wins over Florida State, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss. And then they had that loss to Miami, who we know is a good Miami team. They only lost by 2, 66-64. So again, I mean, Ole Miss isn't a great win, but it's still a good win. Oklahoma State's a good win. Florida State's a good win. And the Knights have 4 people who average double digits on this team, 4 different people who can light it up, putting up 72 points per game. And then their defense also stellar, only allowing 65.3 points per game. And we want to touch on this too. You just said it. They lost to Memphis by 5. Kendrick Davis and Williams couldn't have been hotter. That Memphis team was flying through that tournament. And UCF played them close. And then you look at in their conference, they had to play Houston twice. I know they got beat both times, but they gave them a game. And they had to play Memphis twice in the conference. And one time they beat Memphis in overtime. So this is not an untested UCF team. This is a UCF team that has played some very good basketball teams. And I would actually lean UCF here. I have not bet this one, but I think that UCF is live right now.
Well, you know, clearly market moving heavily in their direction. Shout out to Lex Steele. Thank you so much for that, Dono. Thank you for thinking of us, man. It means a ton to us. Lex Steele, blessing action with a $4.99 Dono. Jake Burns says he's surprised UCF is the dog. Then Johnny Gunn says my numbers have UCF outright by 4. It says market moving to UCF. Everything correlated towards UCF. Very live dog here. You know, with all that being said, you have the Big Ragu on UCF team total under in Florida. And he is an Ocala capper. He's right there in Florida. So that's enough to make me not want to be involved here. Big Ragu says numbers I flashed for UCF are 0-3 last 3, 2-8 last 10, straight up in the dog roll. So I guess I'm going to have to stay off of this spot here on both sides. So is there anything you want to make official for UCF Florida NIT 7 p.m. spot?
No. And, you know, yesterday, I had one bet yesterday. I did take Pitt first half, but I never gave it out on here, and I didn't post it, so it don't fucking matter. It matters for my bank account. But, Jimmy, I'm taking this. You know, you've seen, I've already given you, like 5 or 6 bets for tomorrow and Friday, and I'm about to add 2 more. I'm taking it as the games come. As much as I want action right now, I do. I'm a degenerate, man. I want to fucking gamble. But I'm taking this shit. I got to take it to the next level, man. I got to boost my bank account, and I don't boost my bank account by betting things I'm not very confident in.
I hear you, man. Well, let's keep rolling. Let's head to Youngstown, Ohio for the next spot. 7 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma State Cowboys 18-15, 5-7 on the road at Youngstown State. Penguins 24-9, 14-2 at home. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have Oklahoma State opening up as 7-point favorites at Pinnacle. That's down to 5.5. Let's go over to Bet Online and see what they were offering. Bet Online had this opening up at 5.5. They also got up to 7 points as well. They got up 7 points 3 different times, and it's now come back down to 5.5. Let's take a look at the total. This total opened up at 147.5, and this one shot up to 151.5. And there was a 3-point move to the over 45 minutes ago. That's an unbelievably big move. A 3-point move to the over. Wow. And not only that, but the over is still juiced. Wow. That's wild. All right. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it correlates here. We have back here we go. So on the spread, 30% of the tickets and 72% of the cash is on Oklahoma State. So the public's on Youngstown State here, expecting, I guess, Oklahoma State not to care. But the big bets have come in on Oklahoma State. The big bets came in when the line was first available. They hammered Oklahoma State. The public has come in and brought the line back down. 32% of the tickets and 46% of the cash is on the over. Clearly, that was not the case 6 hours ago or so. Big bets must have come in on that over. The Cowboys defeated Oklahoma 57-49 before losing 61-47 to Texas as 7-point dogs in the Big 12 quarters. Youngstown State comes in off a very disappointing 75-63 loss. Now, it was to the eventual champs, Northern Kentucky North, but they were 3.5-point favorites in the semis of the Horizon League, and they dropped the ball. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, Oklahoma State Cowboys, Youngstown State Penguins.
The chat has hit it. Shout out to you guys. The one reason that I haven't bet Oklahoma State first half, because you can get it all the way down to 2.5. The reason I haven't bet it is because this game is away. This is in Youngstown. They're playing at home here, which is it's a rare occasion for this because they're the lower seed, but they're the home team, which is weird. It's just how the scheduling worked out. And you look at what this team's done at home. They've only lost 2 games at home this year. I know they're playing lesser competition. But Oklahoma State, they've lost 5 of their last 6. We saw them get their ass beat by 14 to Texas. And I was on Oklahoma State in the Big 12 tournament against Oklahoma because all the rhetoric that I read was that if Oklahoma State won that game, they made it to the big dance. They were in the tournament and they won it, but then they got their ass beat by Texas and didn't make it. So I guess I was a little surprised to see them on the outside looking in. But this is an Oklahoma State team who's only putting up 107.8 points per 100 possessions. Where you look at the other side, 113 per 100. So Youngstown State has that scoring spark, I guess you could say. All that being said, I think Oklahoma State's defense is what's going to win this. Now, their defense has gave up 73 or more points in 5 of their last 6 games. And I just talked about them losing 5 of their last 6 games. So they've been slipping on both sides of the court. All that being said, I think Oklahoma State's the better team. And if Oklahoma State was at home, I'd have a bet on them here.
Very, very interesting spot here. Well, I tell you what, with 70% of the tickets on Youngstown State, that early move towards Oklahoma State, I respect. But the books have brought it back, and I respect that enough too. But there's Matty Ice in the house. What up, Matty Ice? Julian Cesario says Okie smashed the youngsters today. Tell me, didn't you say this? Is Youngstown's back off of spring break too, so there should be a decent crowd. Justin McElvey already stepped on Youngstown State at plus 6.5.
Oh, they're going to show up for Oklahoma State. This place should be packed. And that's what's keeping me off this game. It's because I lean Oklahoma State, but I'm not going. This is going to be the biggest game they've played all year for them at home.
Tell me you didn't just say this, is I cannot imagine OK State bringing a good effort here. So much against them. All right. And this total shot up 3 points there an hour ago. Okay, so I'm not going to go up against that, what I perceive as sharp early money. I hear you guys. A lot of edges on helping Youngstown State here, but hopefully I'm going to have to. Res Mob saying, I love this chat. This chat is what makes the show special. No doubt about it. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. We head to Little John Coliseum in Clemson, South Carolina. And the big question is, with Clemson 15-1 at home, do they care? Do they care? Leo said it says, how about that over 134 in the Arizona State game? Yeah, I don't let the chat answer that. I'm not sure. And John Perez saying this will be Youngstown State toughest matchup the entire season. There should be a good Youngstown State crowd, good energy from them. Youngstown State to at least cover the spread. There's Spenny Penny Bombs in the house, and Dan Kelly just got on the Cleveland Cavs team total under 110.5 because I see the money moving the other way. Interesting. I will copy and paste this. Let me get this up here. Thank you for sharing that with us, Dan. That is our first game on NBA, and we have Billy Brisbane joining us both today and tomorrow. All right, so let's get back to action here in college hoops. Man, 24 hours from now, tip-off between Maryland and West Virginia in the NCAA tournament. That's how close we are, 24 hours from now.
You going to bet that game? I want to talk about them so bad.
Yeah, I'm going to well, you know what? Maybe Maybe you should join us tomorrow with CMAC.
I'm down.
'cause it's just so important. So, yeah, maybe that's what we should do. You're a good man, Julian Cesario. We have the Taint play of the day in. So I'm going to get that here set up so we can discuss. Taint is in. Sweet Taint. Nice to hear that. Arthur Meade Jr. says Maryland will win. And by the way, Matty Ice says Arizona State is also on his card for those of you who are on the fence. And that's why. Let's talk Morehead State Eagles 21-11, 7-8 on the road this year at the Clemson Tigers. We already said 15-1 at home. There's been a move towards Morehead State. Let's take a look at the line of history. Over at Pinnacle, this opened with Clemson -16. Now they're -15.5. Small move, very small move at Pinnacle. That move took place just at 10:52 this morning. So up until that point, this did come out on Monday at 12:11 p.m. There'd be no move to Morehead State. Let's take a look at Bet Online. Bet Online opened this up at -17. They've moved to -15.5. And that move to 15.5 came on Monday at 5:23 p.m. So there's been no move since then. And even though it was at 15.5 at Bet Online, Pinnacle still opened it up at 16. Totals wise, this opened up at 139 at Bet Online. It's now 137.5. The initial move was to the over. It went up a full point 10 minutes after this line was introduced at 10:05 on Monday morning. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot. Cash wise, we have 46% of the tickets and 81% of the cash on Clemson. We've seen the market move slightly towards Morehead State. There is 54% of the tickets on Morehead State. Total-wise, 48% of the tickets and 99%. Now, granted, there's only 3,337 tickets bet on this game, but 48% of the tickets and 99% of the cash is on the under. So the first bets came in, were on the over. It ticked up, and then a move towards the under. Let's just take a look at what Pinnacle's done with this under. So that move towards the under, again, it happened this morning. So a big bet was placed on the under in this spot. Morehead State won the regular season OVC title before having their 5-game winning streak snapped in a 65-58 loss to Southeast Missouri State in the semis. They were 5-point favorites. Clemson opened up their ACC tournament with a beatdown of NC State, 80-54, a smash and grab, before losing to Virginia badly in the semis, 76-56. Take it away for us here at Daby Cab, Morehead State, Clemson Tigers.
Not muted. There we go. Not giving anybody any money that's betting against me for that. None.
Respect it.
All right.
Respect it.
Clemson can't be happy right now. And I know we talk about motivation. It's always got to be a thing. This is a Clemson team that beat Duke and then fell to Louisville. They lost twice to Virginia down the stretch. I was about to say Morehead. Morehead State, they've got a little bit of size. They've got Alex Gross. So they're going to be able to compete, with the Tigers, 2 big guys down low. They're going to have some size to put in there. I don't really care what happened in the non-conference schedule. This is a state team coming in, winning 11 of their last 12 games. And early on in the season, they had some tough matchups. So they've seen bigger schools. They played Indiana. They played West Virginia. They played Vanderbilt. I'm not saying they did great in those games, but they played up. They have played up. And for me, it's sitting, what is the line at right now? Is it still 17?
No, it's at 15.5 or 16, depending on where you shop.
Oh, okay. I still think it's too many points here. This is a Clemson team. The only reason that's keeping me off this, taking the points, is because this is a Clemson team down low that has the ability to dominate anybody. Like I said, with Gross, I think that Morehead State can compete down low and keep it close. But I'm off this game here. This is a tough one.
Yeah, I agree that it is tricky. Arthur Meade Jr., though, agreeing on the Clemson under. There's just too much money on this under for me. I'm a little concerned about how much is on the under. All right, no action in Morehead State, Clemson. Let's move on and head to the Super Pit, Denton, Texas. Alcorn State Braves, 18-13, 10-9 on the road. They were a good road team this year. At North Texas, Mean Green, 26-7, 12-2 at home. Good home team. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Alcorn State, North Texas. North Texas opening up as 17-point favorites at Pinnacle. Again, this opened up Monday at 12. There's been no movement at all. None. See what BetOnline did when they opened it up here. BetOnline opened it up at 17.5, so that did move to 17. So that but it didn't move till 17 until this morning. From a total perspective, opened up at 124.5 and is at 124.5. It initially got all the way up to 126. It was even at 126 at midnight. It didn't go back to 124.5 till 9:30 this morning. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have on the spread 53% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on North Texas. A lot of money on North Texas, but the market's not moving. Then we have 87% of the tickets and 87% cash on the under, but this total went up. This is pretty confusing here. Take it away. Oh, Alcorn State had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 66-62 loss to eventual champ Texas Southern in the SWAC quarters. Alcorn State was 2.5-point favorites of Texas Southern. North Texas had their 3-game winning streak snapped in the 76-69 loss to UAB in the Conference USA Championship semifinals as 1-point dogs. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, Alcorn State, North Texas.
Yeah, I understand why people are looking at the under. And for me, this seems like too many points. You look, the Braves, they've won 9 of their last 11 games and 6 straight road games. So like you said, they've been good on the road. They don't have a very high-scoring offense, but what they do is they protect the ball. In their last 3 games, they've made over 44% of their shots, which is above average. They also rebound the ball well. They attack the offensive glass. So I think they're going to get second chance scoring opportunities here, which are huge. And like I said, they protect the ball, so they're not going to give the Mean Green a bunch of easy scoring opportunities. North Texas here, they played outstanding at home. So this is when I say I understand people looking at the under. This year, they're holding opponents to under 55 points per game at home. So obviously, I think they'll probably keep the Braves in check here. And this North Texas team is hot. They've won 7 straight at home. Offensively, they struggle, though. They're scoring less than 65 points per game. So again, that shows you why people are loving the under here. I just feel like they don't have the firepower to win this by margin. I think 17 points is just too many points here. And that's where it stops for me.
97%. Again, very small amount of bets on this game, 2,674, but 97% of cash on North Texas.
You're talking about a team that's averaging 65 points per game at home, and you're asking them to win by 17 points or 18 points.
Johnny Gunn says, would not be surprised if Alcorn comes out firing and win the first half, then comes back to earth in the second half and loses by margin. Look, I
like that.
I get the angles that you guys are talking about, but it just doesn't all correlate for me in a way that I can have confidence. So I can't. I just can't do it. But look, sitting here with all the money on North Texas makes me want to move on Alcorn State. But
Shogun said it. Like, I think North Texas wins. Shogun in the chat, shout out to him. He said their defense is their bread and butter, which it is. But we're talking about 18 points. They got to win by 18 points when the defense is their bread and butter.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. It's just that the alarming amount of money on North Texas. Do I want to sit and say that whoever invested that much money on the side is just wrong, flat out wrong? Like, I'm just not in the business of doing that. I don't want to join them. But I just don't feel like what's worked for me in NCAA basketball is just when things kind of correlate all together, and I just don't feel like that's happening here. I'm going to move off of it. But did you want to move on Alcorn State to cover this big number?
No.
All right.
I got like 11 bets in right now for the next 2 days. I'm good.
Rez, no. Sorry. Let me just move back here quickly. There was no concern about our man Rez. He cashed. He had Texas A&M Corpus Christi on the money line, so there was no concern there. He made his money. All's well in the Hintleyan household. So it wasn't when he drops the 5K bets. They're rarely on the spread. He.
Man, I think the chat might have hit this game on the head, Jimmy. I think you maybe go with the UNT in the second half of this game if you're going to bet it. I actually agree with that right there.
Or I wonder what I kind of almost I have interest in what this I guess not. But I mean, like, what would the North Texas? What are these team totals? You're telling me that Alcorn at 54.5, North Texas at 71.5. Is North Texas going to put up 72 points? Johnny Gunn says, "What's that first half line?" Big Roo says, "Sounds like an easy under." Johnny Gunn says, "What's the first half line at 9.5?" Let's see if that's moved at all quickly before we move on from this one. Move on to first half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that first half Alcorn, second half North Texas. I think we broke this one down to a T. Whether we make money off it or not is up to us, but I think we got it broken down.
One of the red flags is when Pinnacle gives you the best line.
Okay.
And Pinnacle's giving you the very best line on Alcorn State first half. So that's always been a red flag here. So I'm not interested here, but I'm certainly needing more cash. We do have the tape or more action. Tape play days coming up, so let's keep digging and see what we find. Next up for us, 9 p.m. Eastern, Virginia Tech Hokies 19-14, but just 2-9 on the road this year. At the Cincinnati Bearcats, 21-12, 15-3 at home at Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's take a look at the line history here in this spot. I got to spend one night in Cincinnati, and it was fucking wonderful. We stayed in. Yeah, it was fucking wonderful, man. It was so cool.
Time in Cincinnati, it was fucking awful.
Oh God, it was so cool. We stayed right across the bridge, and I think it's Lexington. I don't know. Forget
Kentucky,
what it's called.
Yeah, it's right across the bridge. You stayed right where I was. You had an awesome time there. That place was fucking terrible. Magic.
I'll tell you what. So we had one night there. So we went downtown right to the stadium district. Then we went to this incredible sports bar for Game 7 of the World Series of Giants Royals, and the bar was packed with all Royals fans, and we had all our Giants jersey on, and we had these glow in the dark Giant necklaces. We were getting screamed and yelled at. It was
Cat Williams, right? Because that mall that he talks about in his stand-up is right there, the one where he's like, oh look, they got a Foot Locker, oh they got another Foot Locker, a third Foot Locker, because it's just a little fucking circle. That's right where you're talking about is where that mall is. That place is shit, Jimmy.
I had a great night there and loved every second of it. And
awesome.
Everybody they were so nice to us, and I just loved it. But let's get back to work here. Virginia Tech opening up at +5. They're now at +5.5 at Pinnacle. Over at Bet Online opened up at 5 and has not moved. Has not moved to Bet Online. From a totals perspective, opened up at 150 and is now at 154. Here's a second game now that we've had a huge move. 30 minutes ago, we've had a 2.5 point move to the over at 11:48 a.m. Absolutely wild, huge move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot. We have on the spread 50% of the tickets and 63% of the cash is on Cincinnati at home. On the total, 73% of the tickets and 60% of cash is on the over, and we just saw this giant move towards the over a second ago. So there are some bigger bets that have been placed on Cincinnati, but none of the books have moved towards Cincinnati. Oh, actually, when this opened, about 3 hours in, Bet Online moved it to 6, and then 7 hours later brought it back to 5. So the books aren't showing any concern here. I was very intoxicated, J-Dub. Extremely intoxicated. And Tommy Gunn says, I got moving stories going to Cincy. Ended with the cops telling us to go back to your hotel, pack, and get your truck and leave. Virginia Tech opened their ACC tournament with a 67-64 win over Notre Dame before losing 97-77 to NC State in the second round as 2-point dogs. Cincinnati opened their AAC tournament with an 84-54 win over Temple, a big win over Temple, before losing by 21 to Houston in the semifinals as 9-point dogs. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, Virginia Tech Hokies, Cincinnati Bearcats.
Man, yeah, we keep talking about who wants to be where they want to be. This is one of those games where I feel like the road team probably doesn't want to be there in Virginia Tech, and the home team wants to beat an ACC squad. Cincinnati, what they're going to do here is they're going to have an advantage on the boards. This Virginia Tech team ranks 209th in the nation in rebounding margin with a minus 0.1 rebounding margin, where you look at Virginia Tech also, they're just bad on the road shooting, 31.8% from long range. And Cincinnati does a good job on the defensive side. They're holding teams to 31.2% from three. And we all know that's what Virginia Tech's going to do. They're going to try and shoot up threes. Also, at home, this Cincinnati team, this stat is fucking outstanding. Cincinnati's putting up 82.7 points per game on 47% shooting at home. That's outstanding. For me, I really wanted to bet Cincinnati first half here. The chat got me. They called me out. They know me. I wanted to bet Cincinnati first half here. I don't know what kept me off. I haven't bet it yet. I very likely will. This is one of those. I've got one bet in today, and I've got two that I might add to it. And this is one of them. And if I do, I'll tweet it out and put it on my card.
Okay, and then tag me if you do that. I need a sign that the books are concerned. I'm not getting it. So maybe it's because it's 50-50 with the tickets. That's all fair.
And also, Jimmy, that it worries me what you're saying, because I feel like if they move this line any higher, people would pile on Virginia Tech, and it's telling me that they don't want people to pile on Virginia Tech.
There's truth to that for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's kind of kept me off. Because I mean, even me, if this was at 7 or 7.5, I'm betting Virginia Tech. Are you kidding? Like, you know, so
I'm not. If this is at 6.5 or 7, I'm betting Cincinnati first half immediately.
Well, if it originally started there, sorry, I made that very confusing.
Okay,
if it reacted to it, I agree, yes. But if it originally started there, I would have been on Virginia Tech.
Noli No says, is 155 too high? You know, sure. But why was it that forced? What was it that forced the books to move it up there 30 minutes ago? That scares me. So does that mean that you're going to get no defense out of Virginia Tech and they don't care? Noli No says gets to 146 maybe. So
I don't see this game getting to 155.
All right. So that's Cincinnati, Ohio, and Tales of. Let's move on to 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to get involved. We only have 3 games left in college basketball, and I want action like anybody. At this point, the only thing I know I'm going to have is the first half under. Does that mean I move on Fairleigh Dickinson? I'm not sure. But DC Capper says Texas Southern -2 for him. Does that mean I move on Arizona State? Rick J saying follow your gut with that. And Matty Ice already on Arizona State. Maybe I will. I tell you what, I'm not going to be done this segment without action. So let's see what happens. 9 p.m. Eastern, Sam Houston Bearcats. They were very good this year. 25-7, 10-5 on the road. At Santa Clara Broncos, 23-9, 14-4 at home. We're in Santa Clara for this one. And we have arrived at the Taint play of the day. Taint play of the day is the over 142.5 in Santa Clara, Sam Houston. And shout out to our very own, and he's ours, don't get it twisted, our very own Matty Ice. Jake Burns says Santa Clara for him. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Santa Clara opening up at -3.5. They're now -4.5. That's from Pinnacle. Let's see what BetOnline did on this. BetOnline opened this up. Santa Clara -4. And the first thing that happened on Monday morning when this line came out was it moved a full point towards Sam Houston. Then 2 hours later, it moved a 1.5 back over to Santa Clara. Then an hour and a half after that, back to Sam Houston. So it was back and forth. But it's at -4.5 right now, which is a half-point move from the opening line at BetOnline. Totals-wise, it's opened up at 142. It's now at 142.5. So a half-point move to the over. Jake Burns like in Santa Clara. Dommy Gunn like in the over in this one. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see what correlates here. We have, let me move back to this spot here. Here we go. So 89% of the tickets and 88% of the cash is on Sam Houston State Bearcats. Why in the world would the market then be moved a half point to Santa Clara? From a total situation, there's just 2,000 tickets in. So all we know is that 67% of the tickets are on the under. We don't know where the cash flow is on that number, but it has gone up a half point from its opening. And again, 10 minutes into this line, it moved up a 1.5. So that very first action was on the over. Sam Houston had their 8-game winning streak snapped in a 78-75 loss to Grand Canyon in the WAC semis as 2.5-point favorites. Santa Clara had their 7-game winning streak snapped in a 93-87 double overtime loss to San Francisco in the WCC tournament quarters as 3.5-point favorites. Both teams expected to go further in their conference tournaments. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab. Sam Houston Bearcats, Santa Clara Broncos.
There's so much going into play at this one. Sam Houston's they've got a tough defense, 5th in the country, allowing 58.5 points per game. They hold opponents below 39% shooting. It's just good on defense. Santa Clara, you look at what they've done. They struggle. They struggle bad on the defensive side. Let me find their numbers right here. They're giving up, I think it's 73 points per game. I don't know why I don't have it in front of me. 73 points per game, which is 269th in the nation. When you look at what they're doing on offense, 77.3 points per game, which is outstanding. But this is going to be an offense going versus a really good Sam Houston defense right here. This was one of the hardest games to cap for me. I think Santa Clara is where my gut went, where everything wanted me to bet. But when I looked into some of Sam Houston's defensive numbers, it kept me off this one.
Robert Franklin is also on the over. Interesting that it's gone up a 0.5 point with the bigger bets coming in on the under. But I guess that makes sense because if you like Sam Houston, you like the under. And we know that most of the cash is on Sam Houston. Let's just go over those numbers once again. So of course they're liking the under, but it's gone up a 0.5 point. Wow. I need to wait a little longer. I want a little bit more information on this, but I'm leaning towards tailing Matty Ice and this over. I think it makes sense. I do want some more information from the book, so I will wait, but that is my expectation. Anything you want to move on in this spot?
No, but seeing Noli on Santa Clara out there, that makes me want to move on it because I definitely lean Santa Clara here, but I'm not betting this one.
Yeah, I have interest in Santa Clara. I mean, it's just I mean, certainly the market is telling you that they're very comfortable with all this Bearcat money coming in. Let's move on to the Pit in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What a Jekyll and Hyde Lobos team this has been. Now, injuries are a big part of it, especially at the guard position. Utah Valley Wolverines, 25-8, 10-5 on the road. At the Lobos, we're 22-11 and 15-4 at home. Let's take a look at the line history. King Al, I'll pop it in the chat for you. Matty Ice, taint play of the day right here. And Jay Peasy saying that he likes this over. Let's go. We're in the Pit. We're at the Pit, not in the Pit. At the Pit. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Very little movement. Actually, Heritage has moved it at. Heritage is the only reputable book that's moved it a bit. Pinnacle opened this up at -6 for the Lobos. It's now at 5.5, a 0.5 point move towards Utah Valley. Let's see what BetOnline has done. BetOnline opened this up at 6 as well, and it's also at 5.5. Although the early cash again was on the Lobos. Total wise, or the early market move, I should say. The total opened up at 161.5. This just moved to 164. This is another move. I mean, it's just a 2-point move, but not just. We had a ton of movement to the over in 3 of these games now at about 11:15 this morning. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. Move over here. We have 85% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on Utah Valley, and it's moved just a 0.5 point in their direction. Total-wise, 42% of the tickets are on the over and 52% of the cash, and we've seen the over climb. Alfred says, if money is on New Mexico, I'm scared off. All of the money on the spread is on Utah Valley. Does that make you want to move on New Mexico? Utah Valley won the WAC regular season title before having their 4-game winning streak snapped in a really wild 89-88 heartbreaking loss to Southern Utah in the semis. The WAC semis is 4-point favorites. New Mexico comes in off a 91-76 loss to Utah State in the Mountain West quarters as 4-point dogs. Take it away, Daby Cab. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Wolverines and Lobos.
Yeah, I know the Lobos struggled, down the stretch, but I really think that they're going to have a couple advantages in this game. Utah Valley coming off that tough loss too. And this New Mexico team, their offense is just outstanding. I know they've lacked on defense, but they have 3 people who average above 15 points per game, which I love. I love teams that move the ball around, that get a lot of assists, and I love teams that have multiple people that can run it up. And another thing is New Mexico is going to be at home for this game. One of the things we haven't really, talked a ton about is home court, which is going to play huge in this NIT tournament because the mental state of these teams is something that we're talking about every game. So who's at home is going to play a difference here. And New Mexico's at home, and you look at what they've done. I don't usually look into trends, but they're 3-0-1 ATS, their last 4 games following a loss. So they do bounce back well. I like New Mexico here. I want to say New Mexico first half is probably going to be my first official bet here today. I haven't personally bet it yet, but this was the one that I was going to pull the trigger on.
Alfred wants New Mexico, says Utah Valley could still be in shell shock, and says the pit is a serious advantage. Johnny Gunn says both teams averaging 82 to 83 points per game in their last 5, but Utah Valley is only allowing 67 and New Mexico is allowing 82. Says I want to side with defense here, but 94% of the cash is taking me off of Utah Valley. Tommy Gunn says the splits in this tourney, in his opinion, mean less. People bet for a lot of reason in the dance. Nothing to do with capping example. Yesterday, the money was all over Liberty. Well, Liberty won. Right? Liberty won that game. So, wouldn't that have helped everybody knowing that? Jake Burns saying Utah Valley was up 20 last game and lost. So you have a lean here towards Utah. There's Loopy in the house. We have a lean towards Utah Valley.
New Mexico State first half -2.5.
Oh, sorry, of course. Is that something you're going to make official?
Man, as much as I want to, Jimmy, I'm going to have so much action the next 2 days, and this is just, it's so important, like so fucking important for my bank account to stay where it's at right now and keep going up. So I don't know, man. I think I'm just gonna wait. I think I'm just gonna wait.
Okay, and if you tweet something out, you will tag me and
I'll tag you. Trust me, and everybody in the chat, just so you know, I hate sitting here and saying no, I'm not going to bet it. I hate it. I want to give you guys something to make money on. That's literally what we're here to do. But in order to do that, I have to give you guys what I'm most confident in, and my confident plays start tomorrow.
All good. Let's talk about the last spot on the board. 11 p.m. Eastern. UC Irvine Anteaters 23-11, 9-6 on the road at Oregon Ducks 19-14, 13-5 at home. Darren Turner says the public doesn't always lose. Well, if the public makes 100 bets, they're going to lose more than 50 of them. Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene, Oregon. The Ducks 19-14, 13-5 at home. Let's take a look at the line movement here. And we have UC Irvine opening up as 9.5-point dogs, now 7.5-point dogs. A big move at Pinnacle. Let's see what BetOnline has done. BetOnline opened this up as 10-point dogs, and they're down to 7. See what Bet365 has done. Bet365 opened this up at 10, and they're also down to 7. Wow. Big move towards the Anteaters. This total opened up at 146, now sitting at 146.5. Nolan Note says market doesn't move based on money. Who bet it matters more.
Mal, is Dante playing?
Let's get all that information up here. The latest, I will grab that here for you as well. Cash, it certainly seems like Oregon won't be full. 59% of the tickets, 59% of the tickets, 72% of cash is on UC Irvine. Then 87% of tickets and cash are on the under. UC Irvine had their 3-game winning streak snapped in 83-80 loss to Cal State Fullerton as 3-point favorites in the Big West semifinal. Oregon had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 75-56 loss to UCLA in the Pac-12 semis as 5-point dogs. Take it away here for us, Daby Cab. The last game here on our schedule, UC Irvine, Oregon Ducks.
Well, the movement makes sense here because, these teams have already played this year, and Oregon got spanked at home, by the way. Now, it was back in November, so you could take it for what it's worth. But in my opinion, that should give Irvine a little bit of a mental advantage coming into this one. They should be ready for it. the first time they met, the line was 15.5. So, there's a huge, so I guess some people could say they see value in that. But, even at 7, where it's moved to, at 9, I loved Irvine. At 7, I still like them. Irvine has the size to match up with Dante down low for Oregon, and that's pretty much everything Oregon's got going. Irvine's also an excellent 3-point shooting team. And you look at what the Ducks have done lately. They're 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games overall. Where the Anteaters, they've been good. They've been very good on the road this year. So I understand the line movement. I understand everything. I think Oregon's probably a fade in this spot.
Do you think the line movement is saying that Dante will be out?
That's huge. You got to know that if he's out. And I saw Mal said something about his ankle. Maybe his ankle being hurt.
Yeah, it's an ankle injury. Yeah. I think that move is telling us that he's not going to be there.
It's got to be, right? I mean, and which for me makes a huge difference. Huge difference in this game. I mean, he's everything for this Oregon team.
Yeah, I think that's what it's telling us, that he's not going to be there. I think that even though the line has moved so far, that UC Irvine full game is the play. All right, let's review all action here in college basketball. I'm interested in Fairleigh Dickinson. I don't know if I'm going to move on them. I will move on the first half under in Fairleigh Dickinson, Texas Southern. Then I want to move on Arizona State. And I think I will move on Arizona State. I still have question marks beside it because there was a lot of great cappers on the chat on Nevada. But I think I follow through. Now, I'm going to look at it some more after the show, but I just like them getting that slap in the face. I think it's the perfect time to get it. They'd beaten Arizona. Arizona came to play. They were terrible. They shot like 30% from the field, 12% from 3, something like that.
Right, and you saw how well they shot the game before that. It's that was a spot that was like perfectly lined up to bet Arizona. Like that game was just like Arizona all written all over it. It was revenge spot. Cambridge basically couldn't fucking miss against USC. Yeah, I agree. I kind of want to pull on Arizona State too here. I'm in the same boat as you.
Big Ragu is on Florida, but there's been a huge market move towards UCF. Oh, I feel you, Dommy Gun. You meant Toledo. No, I hear you, man. But the Toledo first half cashed very easily for Pete and others. Oklahoma State, Youngstown, we've stayed off, as we have with Morehead State, Clemson. Alcorn State, North Texas, Virginia Tech, Cincinnati, nothing. Taint play today is Santa Clara, Sam Houston over. And we know that over correlates with Santa Clara. The under correlates with Sam Houston. I think I'm going to be involved in that over. The question is, do I also move on Santa Clara? I don't know if I do at this point. I don't know if I do at this point. So that's sort of on hold. DC Cappers on the over 164 in Utah Valley, New Mexico. And then I will be betting UC Irvine as soon as possible. And that is our college basketball breakdown. So what we'll do for tomorrow is we'll open with college basketball. We'll go through every single tourney game. We'll get Daby Cab back in action with us, and we'll have both Daby and C-Mac for that. So right off the hop, we'll go right into college basketball, March Madness tomorrow. That will be our plan. Daby Cab, if you make any moves, please tag me on a tweet. Dommy Gun also added the over 142.5 in the Santa Clara Sam Houston Bearcat game. Mally Mal says if the center, if Dante doesn't play for Oregon, that Irvine smacks him. And there is our college breakdown. So it's time to move on to NBA. Daby Cab, I know how important the next 24 hours is. Also, don't forget about our contest on Pub Sports Radio's website right now. $50 American to enter. Over 20 people have entered so far. We won 100.
Who's cutting down your nets? Can you at least tell me that?
Say what?
Who's going to cut down the nets for you? Can you at least tell me that? You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I can tell you my final four. at this point, and it could easily change.
Okay.
It could easily change. I still need, like, I've set it all up, and I want to sit with it for longer. But I will have, at this point, Alabama and Duke.
I like it.
And then I will have Texas. And I'm close to moving on UCLA, and I have Texas beating Houston.
Hey, I think Texas is a team that people aren't putting in their Final Four that could very easily get there. I like that. I think that's I like that, Jimmy. I think that's good. I think you got a good little bracket right there.
We'll see. I mean, things can go poorly right away. Things can go poorly right away, but Steve saying Arizona, Duke, yeah. And I've gone back and forth. There's some spots where I do have. Tomorrow when we get there, we're going to be able to go over all of it. Mally Mouse says I need Houston with Sasser. Shogun like the same thing. I love that. But yeah, that's the initial plan here. If we I know we got to move on to NBA, and I want to move on to NBA, but I'll just
Mal, I should hate Texas. I got Aggie stuff behind me. They're rivals. I should hate Texas, but I like money more. So
yeah, the plan at this point, what I want to see is UConn play UCLA to get to that final spot, and I'm going to leave Kansas out. And it's a hard thing to do. UConn could lose to Iona right off the hop. I don't think they are, but I do think that UConn will beat the winner of St. Mary's VCU comfortably. And I like UCLA to still make a run at this point. What is your Final Four at this point?
I'm not even gonna put it out there yet. I'm actually gonna sit down and get to work on our contest as soon as we get off here. I'm gonna make mine. So I'll let you know tomorrow when we're sitting here. I like Alabama. I know Alabama's my team right now. Alabama's my favorite team to win it all. I don't know. Houston, as much as I like Houston, they've been they leave a little to be desired on the offensive end sometimes.
It's going to be really fun. I do think, as a lot of us do, that Purdue is vulnerable.
I don't like Purdue.
And look, Oral Roberts can heat up against Duke immediately and knock Duke out. It's possible here.
That's the worst spot for Duke for the first game. That is that's like the one team they were sitting there saying, please don't fucking give us Oral Roberts.
Who do you have for me? I know we'll talk about this, of course. I guess we won't get to talk to you about Friday. Can you give me a quick hint on your Michigan State USC spot?
Yeah, USC, first half, +1.
But what about in the contest?
Who do I have winning it?
Yeah.
I'll have USC winning it. Yeah.
All right. Well, nobody knows. I think Bama showed their mental fortitude, and at this point, I have them.
Miller is so good, man, and I don't think he gives a shit about everything that's going on in the media right now.
Yeah. He's handling it.
Yeah.
But I have, at this point, I have my final, and it could change. I have my final Texas, Alabama. So we'll see.
That would be good.
Jean Perez has Final Four: Marquette, Bama, Texas, and UConn. Mally Mal says UConn over. Sorry, what did he say? UConn over.
He's asking Houston? If we like UConn over Houston. Not me personally, no.
Well, we don't need to worry about any of that.
Right.
I mean, unless you're talking about the Final Four. Right, that's the only way they can meet up. So, okay. So tomorrow we'll have Daby Cab and we'll have CMAC, and we'll start with college basketball. We'll go through it all. So, follow our man Daby Cab on Twitter at Daby Cab, and get that cash, my man. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Man, you guys in the chat. Whole reason we do this is because of this chat, man. You guys are the fucking best. I can't wait to kick it with you guys in San Antonio, and let's get paid through this March, Jimmy. I'll be back tomorrow with you. Till then, I'll catch you guys.
I love it. There he is. Dabra Kadabra in the house. We move on to NBA. As you know, every bet that's dropped on this show is tracked with transparency and honesty. There's Kyle Hintlian. Nice work. Great job. We were cheering for you heavy last night. Great job getting that cash, man. I love it. I love it. Love seeing you succeed. Our next guest is going to be rocking with us today and tomorrow. And he's had some tough luck here with us, but still, even with some tough luck, 5-5 thus far. 5-5. His average line is plus 114. He's down a half unit, but he's 5-5. Average line plus 114. ROI, it's too early for the ROIs and all that stuff. But I love the way he caps, and I know he's going to be in the black. Please welcome from South Jersey, joining us today and tomorrow for NBA breakdowns, Billy the Kid. Getting Bills, Billy Brisbane in the house. Brizzy, what up?
What up, man? Hectic morning this morning. Getting ready to go fuck up March Madness at the Mohegan Sun real quick and then come back home Monday.
Oh, yeah, you're going to stay there for the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm about to leave in a couple of hours, but we're here for the end.
Well, let's get to work right now in NBA. We've been given looks from McSchnizzle. We've been given looks from Dan Kelly. Let's get to work here. I'm coming off an ugly day. Ugly day for me. 2-4. Charlotte was a debacle. The Wizards first half team total under 58.5, lost badly. Detroit, Washington under 219.5 cashed, and the Blazers team total under 113.5 cashed, but Orlando San Antonio Spurs under 232 didn't. And when I was sitting there looking at everything, I was like, the market was screaming to us that the Spurs were the play. Why am I still scared of that? Why can't I just trust what we're seeing and move forward?
Spurs suck. You don't know if Popovich is going to pull a pop and start playing G League players at halftime. There's a lot of inherent risk that you go into when you're backing a team that's trying to lose.
They've won 4 of 7, though. You know, they're winning basketball games right now. You know, a lot to talk about. North Ender hammered the Spurs. The big balls on you. And Ron Crawford says Spurs tonight. Rant says Rockets will win today. Shout out to Link in the house. And again, Kyle Hintley, an excellent work. Let's copy and paste Dommy Guns action as well on the over 6 in a Minnesota Wild game. Exciting. Pop it right here. And there's our guy Wine Time Sports in the house. Is all over these Rockets plus 4, line down to minus 3.5. With the public hammer, he's like, okay, we're going to talk about all that. But let's get to work here and start off with a game that Dan Kelly is moving on. Dan Kelly just got on the Cleveland Cavaliers team total under 110.5. Let's talk about Philadelphia 76ers 45-22, 19-12 on the road at the Cleveland Cavaliers, 43-27, 28-7 at home. We're at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's start with the line history and then get into the cash flow. Line history wise, and again, of course, we will be using Pinnacle for our market moves. Move over here, all markets. All right, let's roll. Here we go. The Cavs open up as 2.5-point dogs. That's exactly where they stand right now. There's been a 4-cent move to the Sixers. That's it, a 4-cent move to the Sixers. Totals wise, it's opened up at 220. It's now at 222, a 2-point move towards the over. Let's take a look at the cash here. 54% of the tickets and 81% of the cash on the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the line not moving. 82% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the over. A lot of money here on that over. These teams play at a very slow pace. Philadelphia 5 and over their past 5, playing the pace 96.9 possessions a game. There's our guy Slow Jams, R. Snow in the house. What up, Slow Jams? Cleveland 4-1, playing the pace 97.18 possessions a game. The Sixers come in off their 5th straight win, 112-93 at home versus Washington. Embiid 6 straight games with 30, 34 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, and 4 block shots. Harden 18 points and 14 assists, 31st points, assists, double this season. Jalen McDaniels out with a hip injury. He's had out practice. We're not sure. It's unclear if he'll be in the lineup. Cavs are on the second half of back-to-back after sweeping 2 road games at Charlotte on Sunday and Tuesday. Mobley went for 26. There was no Donovan Mitchell and no Jarrett Allen. Mitchell is expected to play, and Allen at this point, day-to-day, we're not sure. Chetty went for 24, Levert 22, Darius Garland 19, and they were shooting the ball beautifully. Take it away for us here, Billy Brisbane, Sixers, Cavaliers.
Yeah, very familiar with the Sixers team. Definitely my favorite team. There's an emotional pull. But I think I would bet the Cavaliers in this spot today. It feels like the Cavs are kind of pre-looking at this spot last night. They sat Mitchell and Jared Allen, and I think it was for both rest reasons. I have both of them back in the lineup today. And the Cavs are a really good home team, 28-7 at home this season. And the Sixers are 0-4 ATS last 4 games following an ATS win, and 1-3-1 last 5 meetings in Cleveland. Cleveland's 22-12-1 ATS at home, and you're getting home underdog money on them. Kind of feels like a Cleveland spot. Player prop wise, Joel Embiid over 3.5 assists, 5 assists in 5 out of his last 6 games versus Cleveland over the past 2 seasons, and 44 piece last time they played without Allen or Mobley. So weird game, but lean towards the Cavaliers here.
Were you going to make the Embiid spot official here?
No, nothing official.
But you lean towards
Cleveland
and Embiid over assists.
Embiid over assists 3.5.
All right, and you have time to make additions. You can let me know what additions you're going to make, and we will go from there. Just tag me in a tweet. Woo Rizza leaning to the first quarter under. Dan Kelly also getting more confident. He says when Mike M and him are on the same side and the market's going the other way, he has to double down. Rants like in the over. Woo Rizza looking at the Sixers first quarter and to live bet the Cavs in the second quarter. But there you have it. Sixers, Cavs. I'm curious to see how high this total goes. And then I guess I'm a little surprised that there's an expectation from you that, Brizzy, that the Cavs keep rolling here.
Yeah, I like the Cavs here in this spot. I mean, if you look at the last time that these two teams played, they played right before the All-Star break, ESPN primetime slot. In Philadelphia. Cleveland was on a really long win streak, about 8 of 9 games, and Philadelphia absolutely smoked them on our home floor. It feels like a spot that Cleveland is going to be a little bit more inspired to get revenge here. Maybe a spot that Cleveland cares about more than we do, because over the next 13 games for us for the end of the season, when I say us, I mean the Sixers, besides the next game against Charlotte, the rest of the teams are all playoff teams or play-in teams. So we're preparing for the final stretch of the season. Cleveland still has aspirations of getting ahead of us in the standings.
All right, let's keep rolling right now. Next up for us, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's see what Piker says. His totals finished under 6 of the last 7 head-to-head between these two teams. Interesting. I'll leave the last bit out. What do you say? Memphis Grizzlies, 41-26, 13-21 on the road at Miami Heat, 37-33, 23-13 at home, Miami-Dade Arena in Miami, Florida. So I already moved on this. I took the Heat -4. Look, I know that the Heat have not been a trustworthy team this year, but I do think that they're going to turn it on down the stretch. I did not have the Heat against Utah, fortunately, I guess. But I had them against Cleveland after they lost 104-100. I had them, and it was a slight, very light. I think they were -2 or something like that, and they took care of business, won by 4. They opened up a -3.5. -105 at Pinnacle. They're now -4 and -109. When I moved on them this morning, the Grizzlies were juiced. So I really do like seeing the fact that the 4 is now juiced. Totals wise, it's opened up at 220. It's now at 220.5. This is the only NBA bet that I've already made. Let's take a look at the cash flow here on this one. Move up to Heat. Here we go. 59% of tickets and 88% of cash is on the Heat. The market has moved in their direction. Pinnacle did come out late on this, but if you go over to BetOnline, BetOnline opened this up at 2. So there's been a full 2-point move, and that's enough for me. That says Wine Time says I'm on the Heat -4. I hate watching these guys play, but this is a big game for them. They need to win. Woo Rizza got on the Heat -3.5 last night, and BJ going big here. $1,000 on the Heat money line. Ooh, big boy bet for BJ. He's been cashing his $500 bet, so he's moving it up to a K. The copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, BJ. So Memphis 3-2 over their past 5, playing the pace 101.1 possessions a game. Miami 3-2, playing the pace 97.96 possessions a game. Memphis comes in off their third straight win, 104-88 at Dallas on Monday. I mean, it was a Dallas roster that was missing incredibly important parts. Jaws now missed 5 games, so he's in counseling program in Florida. Who knows?
I think he's done for the season.
I don't.
You don't think so? I mean, you know how drug rehabs go and stuff like that. When you check in, like you're there for at least a month, 2 months before you can even get out. It's not like he went to like Joe Schmo's rehab rehabilitation.
But this isn't a drug rehab stint.
But this is alcohol.
Is it?
Alcohol. That's the reason why he's in there. Alcohol abuse.
Is that facts?
Yeah, because of the whole entire the reason why he had the gun in his hand, he was in the club drinking and stuff like that. He's a big drinker and stuff. Everyone on the team knows he drinks.
Yeah, because I think this is more about like choices. I think this is more about sitting down with a
You go to rehab for choices now?
Oh, definitely.
What do
You
you
start
mean?
waving around a gun. Look, definitely. There's lots of rehab for bad choices that you
I don't
make.
think he would do that sober though.
No, but I just
He's not smoking a backwood on his back deck, Jim, and just pointing out a gun on Instagram Live. I would imagine there's a lot of cracking beverages that led him towards that choice.
no, I get it. And we've all been sauced up here. Dan Kelly says if he's in for alcohol, he won't be back until the playoffs. He's coming back this year, I believe. Markel, no, of course not. But when you're worth, what is he worth? $1 billion?
Well, you take away the Powerade deal that's owned by Coca-Cola, his net worth has definitely dropped.
Oh, it's definitely dropped. But let's say
the Coca-Cola deal is worth probably more than the Nike deal, am I right? Like long-term wise?
When Biggie was killed, they thought that, he was worth, and this is how many years ago? 26 years ago, he was worth $1 billion at that point.
He's not an athlete, though. Athletes make way more money than musicians.
Well, I'm just saying that. Okay, but we could sit here and talk about this for a while. I think that he's worth an enormous amount of money, and that he will be back to take care of it. But let's get back to work here. So no Steven Adams. He's not coming back. He's expected to miss the rest of the regular season. No Brandon Clark, torn left Achilles. And so this team with such depth is still playing really good basketball. I mean, you have Desmond Bain, Tyus Jones stepping up, Jaren Jackson Jr. stepping up, Dylan Brooks, still playing well. And then all of a sudden, rocking David Roddy. Career high 24 points. I mean, Saturday comes back with 19 on Monday. So, they're playing really good basketball. The Heat coming off their second win in 3 games, 119-115 at home over Utah on Monday. It was probably a little underwhelming if you had the Heat. Butler scored 24. Bam, Tyler Hero. And then all of a sudden, Omer Yurtseven is back. He missed the first 68 games. Cody Zeller dealing with a broken nose, so they need a backup center. I'm on the Heat here. Take it away for us, Grizzlies Heat.
Yeah, I'll be quick about this one. I do like the Miami Heat today. I'm looking to see if I can find a 3.5. I'm seeing 3.5 at BetMGM.
Yeah, I believe they are out there. I think, let me see if I can get one with low juice as well. I believe they're still out there at some books. None on the offshores. No, not every single offshore right now has moved it to 4. But if you can get a 3.5, I'd lock it in.
I'm looking at it right now. BetMGM -3.5, -115. Right. I'm on the Heat here. Grizzlies have the league worst 2-9 ATS record this season as road underdogs. I know the Heat haven't been the best team to back at home, but they're going to start winning some of these games soon. I've liked the way the Grizzlies have played of recent. But I think some of that is going to definitely come back to haunt them a little bit here. And the Grizzlies aren't a team that I really want to back on the road already. That's strike one. You have no Steven Adams or no John Morant. That's strike two. And you have the league worst ATS record as road underdogs this season. That's strike three. I feel like the bookies are trying to put the 4 out there to scare people off from betting the Heat because, the NBA saying is the numbers between 4 through 6.5 in the NBA are dreaded numbers that you're not supposed to bet. But I'm betting it today. Let's get jiggy with it. Miami Heat minus the 4.
I like it. I like it. And Kyle Lowry is questionable, but I don't know. You need his fat ass on the court. I don't know. I like the Heat here. I'm with you. So what was your minus 3.5?
Minus 115.
Heat minus 3.5 at minus 150.
Personally, though, I'm probably going to bet the 4 at FanDuel. So, it doesn't really make a difference. The 4's minus 114 at FanDuel. Best odds are BetMGM, 3.5, minus 115.
Dan Kelly is grabbing the over on Memphis, Miami. Jean buying points for Memphis. I don't want to promote that ever, but go with your gut and go what works with you. You track your action, and if you succeed, then keep hitting it. So Dan Kelly wanting the over here. Let's just take another look.
It feels like not to cut you off. The Grizzlies play another game on the road again on Friday, and if you think the Grizzlies are gonna win a couple of these road games throughout this trip, it would be the one Friday against the San Antonio Spurs, not tonight. I would personally think that's just the way I'm looking at it.
They're not giving us a percentage of cash here on the total, but we know that 73% of tickets are on the over, and the total is moving up here. It's moving up.
I got 73% of the tickets on the over.
Yeah, I've got the same thing here. So let's just take a look at the best line for you, Dan, would be at Heritage. Heritage, the only book without the hook. So the over 220. Minus 108 at Pinnacle, it's 220.5 at minus 105. I could be talked into this over as well, especially if Memphis sort of, lets go a little bit. The Heat are clearly playing a much more offensive game, even though their pace is somewhat slower. It's faster than it was earlier in the year. I like it. I think that all works. So let's roll on. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sacramento Kings 40-27, 19-13 on the road. Chicago Bulls 31-36, 18-15 at home at United Center at Chicago, Illinois. Sacramento 3-2 over their past 5, playing the pace 101.6 possessions a game. Chicago 3-2, playing at a slower pace, 95.80 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here. The first thing, we've got a big move to the under, but Bulls open up at -1 at -100. They're now +1 at -107. So they've gone from favorite to dog against these Kings. Totals wise, this opened up at 239. It's dropped down to 237. There were some offshores that opened this up at 241. So we have a real legitimate move towards the under in this spot. Let's take a look at what we are. Move over here. What we're dealing with cash-wise here. We have 67% of tickets and 83% of cash on the Kings. Bigger bets coming in on the Kings. At least the public on the Kings, but at least the market has moved towards the Kings. Total-wise, 51% of tickets on the under, 71% of cash on the under. Of course, look, I know that you never want to have an under in the Sacramento Kings game, but the Bulls are playing at a 95.8 possession pace, and they're at home. If you think they can dictate any of the pace, then this is way too high.
I would have bet the under, but I saw that number. I was like, man, am I betting under in Kings basketball games? But, dude, that is extremely high for a slow Bulls team.
You're absolutely right. There's Jacqueline in the house. Great to see you, Jacqueline. Tell me you didn't just say that's on Levine over 27.5 and also took the under 239. Nice job. Tell me you didn't just say that. I think that's a great spot here. Let's just set a quick table for Brizzy. Sacramento had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 133-124 loss home to the Bucks on Monday. They were up 15 in the first half. And, if you can't beat the Kings, when you have your players stepping up, Sabonis triple-double, 23, 17, and 15. He didn't shoot very well in the second half, but Herter, 8 of 11 from 3. Fox puts up 35. But still, you can't beat the Bucks. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign. Sacramento also, whenever they give up a ton of points, they lose. They're 1-5 when giving up over 130. The only win was on that record-breaking game against the Clips. Top offense in points per game, a third to last defense points per game for the Kings. Bulls coming off their second straight win, 119-111 at Houston on Monday, and there was a Pat Bev sighting. 16 points for Pat Bev on the Bulls. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Kings, Bulls.
Right off the bat, when you talk about the spreads, I kind of lean towards the Kings side. Kings are 4-0 ATS last 4 road games and 4-0 ATS last 4 games following an outright loss. So it looks like a team that plays really good coming off of losses. And they're 20-12 ATS on the road this season. And the Bulls are just 1-4-1 ATS last 6 games, including 0-2 ATS in our last 2 home games. So right off of that, lean towards the Kings. But I really am this under is highly appealing. The under is 13-3 in the Bulls' last 16 games versus a team with a winning road record, and 4-0 in their last 4 games versus a team with a winning percentage above 600, and 4-0 in their last 4 days playing on 3 or more days of rest. And the Kings are 19-12-1 towards the under in road games this season. So I like the Kings. I like the under. Which one do I like more? I don't know. Player prop wise, Zach LaVine over 27.5. He scored 41 points against the Kings earlier this year, but that's a little bit skewed because he's from the upper North California area, so that was basically like a hometown game for him. But the Bulls have a really implied high team total tonight. So Zach LaVine scoring 41 against the Kings earlier. Since the All-Star break, he's been playing pretty well. The Kings own the second worst defensive rating while allowing the 10th most points in the paint and the second most three-pointers made in the game. So I can definitely see some Bulls player props here. If you like the Bulls, I would not bet the Bulls because I think they're going to lose. But I think the under could be the best move in this game, 239. I'm actually seeing the under move in some spots. Let me see the best number. 237.5, a couple points down from the opener. So I got to sit back and look at this one, but I like the Kings and I like the under.
Well, interesting and great point from North Ender, and it just took a couple clicks. But yeah, Bet Online opened this up first, 1:55 p.m. yesterday with limits, and they opened this up with the Kings minus 2.5. So from 1:55 p.m. to 1:31 or 12 to midnight, but until 10:30, there was a 2.5 point move towards the Bulls. So that's fascinating and so important. So let's just go over this quickly. So they opened it up at 1:55 p.m. Pinnacle opened this up at 9:05 p.m. after the move had already gone. So that is a crucial bit of information. When Bet365 opened this up, they opened up at 5:05 p.m. and the Bulls, the Kings were down to 1 point favorites. So that's very interesting, North Ender, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. I would prefer. I think now I prefer the under. Let's just go take a look at the cash flow again. You have 67% of tickets, 83% of cash on the Kings, and it did open up at 2.5. So, yeah, I think the under is the spot that I would like the most. Especially with the Kings knowing that it was their defense that really let them down. Interesting. 4-0 Venezuela, I'm sure. Young Jose Sweet Tea Tits Bouquet is losing his mind right now. I'm going to move on the under. Is there anything you want to make official here, Brizzy, for this one?
No.
Okay.
This might be one I circle back to, but
cool.
I feel like Chicago Bulls games are always fucking weird.
The Bulls have been okay to me this year. They're not at fault for my tough record at this point. Let's keep rolling. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, LA Lakers 34-35, 16-19 on the road at Houston Rockets, 16-52, 10-24 at home. We're at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. The Lakers 4-1 over their past 5, playing at a pace 100 possessions a game. Houston 2-3, playing at a pace of 99.43 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Lakers opening up at minus 2.5. They're now minus 3 over at Pinnacle. We know AD will be out of the lineup. Let's see what Bet Online did in this one. Open up at minus 2, and the Lakers are now minus 3. Total wise, this opened up at 230.5 and hasn't. Well, it did move. It was moving towards the under. Got down to 229. Now back up to 230.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have. Move over here. Here we go. 60% of the tickets, 75% of the cash on the Lakers. Line is moving in their direction slightly. 26% of the tickets and 35% of cash on the under. It was initially moving to the under, and now it's gone up to the over. Lakers are now 9-4 since the trade deadline. Second half of back-to-back after winning easily 123-108 at New Orleans last night. Shout out to Big Mastro and those of you who were on the Lakers. Big Mastro did the triple up, and he's going back to the well on a triple up. Davis went for 35 and 17. LeBron, of course, still going to be out longer with the right foot tendon injury. Rockets snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 111-109 victory at home over the Celtics on Monday night. Jabari Smith Jr. going off. First Houston rookie since the Dream to record 3 consecutive 20 and 10 games. 24 points and 11 boards. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Lake Show Rockets.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game because Anthony Davis is going to be out for this one, but this line feels extremely short for the Lakers. I'm on the Lakers money line here at -155. People jokingly say this to me all the time, like, do you just bet on the Lakers every time they're on the books? And I'm just like, hey, since the All-Star break, the Lakers have been hooping, man, and they've been a cash cow. I'm going to keep on riding it. This is a very bad spot for the Rockets. They just came off of their best win the whole entire season. Everybody's all hoop and holler and stuff like that for the Houston Rockets team that barely beat a spotty Celtics team here. They are 4-11 straight up after a win this season. So I'm on the Lakers money line here, -150. And I'm looking for D'Angelo Russell's point prop because I'm betting some way, somehow D'Angelo Russell will be in my life tonight. No homo. And where is a D'Angelo Russell prop, man? I'm looking at that's a little bit too high. D'Angelo Russell, 30-plus points, and the Lakers to win, +390 player performances on FanDuel. That's something that I'm going to circle, but I'm on the Lakers here, money line, -155. Not going to overthink it.
LJ from H-Town, Trill OG play of the day is Rockets +1.5 first half.
Also says Jabari Smith, double-double, +215, hit 3 games in a row now.
Wow, from LJ. Dan says Lakers playing their 4th and 6th nights. Wine Time Sports says this is the first time I've faded my Lakers since January.
Why would you fade the Lakers against the Rockets? The Rockets just came off of probably their best win of the season against the Celtics a couple of days ago. You have this Lakers team playing on absolute levels right now. Their 4th game and 5th nights, but no Anthony Davis out there. I mean, I get it, no Anthony Davis out there, but look at D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell has been damn near better than Anthony Davis the way he's been playing out there. Malik Beasley's been playing great basketball. Jared Vanderbilt's been a juice off the bench. Wayne Gabriel's gave him good minutes off the bench. I mean, this is the deepest the Lakers have looked the whole entire year without LeBron James, and I'm backing them here. Not going to overthink it, man. The Lakers are good money right now.
Moving on the Lakers, I got you a -148. That's at 5 dimes. And then, wow, I guess I'm going to need more time to sit with all this. I've copied and pasted a bunch of everybody's looks. I thought I was going to be on the Lakers too, but I just want to sit with it a little longer. Let's sit with it a little longer here.
But you don't want to wait too long because, never know what injury news reports are going to happen in the NBA and stuff like that. Second half of a back-to-back. Never know.
Johnny Gunn says the injured player theory applies here. Everyone else will play harder to compensate. Markel says tripping if you fade in the Lakers. Just give me your money if you're doing that right now.
Can't you just close your eyes now and just see Austin Reeves on SportsCenter Top 10 by the end of tonight?
I hope not. I don't enjoy watching him at all. All right, 8 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, Boston Celtics, 47-22, 21-13 on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves, 35-34, 20-16 at home. Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Boston 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the pace 99.01 possessions a game. The Wolves 3-2, playing at the pace 100.41 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have the Wolves opening up at +5, -102. There's been no movement in this game. They're at +5 at -103. Let's take a look at the total here. Open up at 234. It's dropped a point to 233. Take a look at the cash flow. We have, here we go. We have 23% of tickets on the Timberwolves and 61% of cash. I almost already bet the Timberwolves, but I needed to stop myself because obviously I've got a recency bias going on. And I just want to talk it out first. 54% of the tickets, 69% of the cash on the under. Boston has lost 5 of its last 8. Had their very modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a surprise 111-109 loss at Houston on Monday. Nasty Nate with the Celtics trifecta. Jaylen Brown went for 43. It wasn't enough. Tatum looked bad. I guess 1 of 7 for 3. And then as a team, they were 12 of 42 for 3 for 28.6%. No Robert Williams for the 6th straight game. Peyton Pritchard will miss his 4th straight game. Timberwolves snapped their 2-game losing streak with an impressive 136-115 win at Atlanta on Monday. 32 points from Ant. Kyle Anderson, triple-double. 3rd triple-double of his career. Rudy Gobert, ankle injury. Big man, Naz Reid, calf injury, and Austin Rivers back. They're all questionable for Minnesota. I'm going to look up and see if we can get any last-minute information on those 3. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Celtics, Timberwolves.
The Celtics shouldn't be without Robert Williams, so, I mean, it could be not that big of a deal. But I personally like the Timberwolves here in this spot. We're getting a nice little home dog here. They're 4-2 last 6 games ATS-wise, but just 1-5 ATS in their last 6 home games. So it's the only reason why I haven't put money on them. But the Celtics are only 2-4 straight up in their last 6 games, and they're playing highly uninspiring basketball. I think if Gobert and Reed sit, I'll still be on the Timberwolves, but I might get a better number. So I'm just going to wait it out a little bit. But I do like the Timberwolves here in this spot. Nothing against the Celtics. Is just like their recent form is like showing me that they just care about they're getting prepared for the playoffs. They don't care about these regular season in between games that don't really mean too much. But guys like Anthony Edwards and stuff like that, I think they're going to be highly inspired to play tonight. To be honest with you, for personal reasons, I don't really like Rudy Gobert. I wouldn't mind if the motherfucker sat out and I got a better number and they played just Kyle Anderson small ball lineups. But that's just me. I probably – we're getting more injury news reports. All right. My bad. I just got an injury news reports. But I like the Timberwolves here plus the 5.5, 6 in some spots. And I think that goes higher before game time because depending on how – the Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid news breaks out will definitely determine how the public bets on this one. Currently, right now, I have 77% of the money coming in on the Boston Celtics, but 61% of the big money tickets are coming in on the Timberwolves. So that's telling me the sharps are smacking the Timberwolves money line and the public's betting the Celtics.
Do you see 5.5 or 6s out there? Because I don't offshore.
Well, that injury news report just came in. See 5.
Yeah, I just see 5s.
I think it's going to go to 6, though, without the Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid.
I'd love to. I hate, backing Minnesota after a big win and fading Boston after an ugly loss. That's all. I was going to bet Minnesota, before we got here.
Same. It's a stay off for me. The more and more I dig into it, it's a stay off. But like first pre-flop lean is home dogs here for Timberwolves. It seems like a really good spot. Timberwolves first quarter has been cashing as well, but I also don't want to fade Boston coming off of a flat spot, and they might be a little bit inspired to start off the first quarter. So might not be the best first quarter spot, but there's better spots on the board than us trying to squeak out a Timberwolves home dog spot.
Piker says fading a lot of stream and historical trends to take Minnesota tonight. No thanks.
I agree. That's what threw me off was some of the historical trends. I weren't really too fond for the Timberwolves here, but it seems like a Timberwolves spot. You're telling me Boston's laying 5.5 points after the debacle that they've been putting on together of recent. And shouts to somebody in the chat. This is Anthony Edwards over 27.5 points. That could be the way to go. He's gone over his point prop 4 out of 4 of his last games. And if you're not scared of the Boston defenses, which you probably shouldn't because he's hit the last 2 games against Boston, averaging 9.5 shot attempts. So if you want to go over 2.5 3-pointers, there's ways to attack this game. Definitely Anthony Edwards' point prop is something to look at, though.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't think I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to move on the Wolves. It just something just doesn't feel right. Rand says Wolves should have kept Russell. I think it's the locker room. What we don't see is the reason why he's not really wanted here. Deshaun G says backwood Boston go lose again. If they win it, will be by a point. All right, let's move on. Mavericks 34-35, 12-21 on the road. San Antonio Spurs 18-50, 12-23 at home. AT&T Center at San Antonio, Texas. We already know that Luka has already been ruled out, and it sounds like Kyrie is also about to be ruled out. I don't know if he was just ruled out.
Kyrie is. Let me read the exact report.
Oh, Catchman saying unlikely to play as of an hour ago.
It's not looking good was the quote from the coach from shoot-around.
Dallas 1-4 of their past 5, playing at the pace of 100 possessions a game. San Antonio 2-3, playing at the pace of 102 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This one opened up with the Spurs plus 5.5. They're now 4.5. Total wise, opened up at 231. It's dropped all the way down to 227.5. Take a look at the cash flow here. We have 72% of tickets, 86% of cash on the Mavericks, and the market moving towards the Spurs. Then you have 63% of tickets and 83% cash on the under, and that total dropping fast. Dallas comes in off its third straight loss, 104-88 at home to the Grizzlies on Monday. So Kyrie, right foot soreness. Luka, left thigh strain. Christian Wood, right foot soreness. Jaden Hardy, 28 points. Josh Green, 23 points. And, Hardaway Jr. left calf contusion, questionable. At this point, Christian Wood is questionable. He's not being ruled out. As I said, Spurs have won 4 of 7. Second half of a back-to-back after the second win in the past 3 games, 132-114 at home versus Orlando last night. Look, Shoan was awesome, but do you really want to sit here and back the Spurs after they look excellent? I mean, it's just very dangerous. Shoan 29-11, and they hit a franchise record 22 threes on 41. I mean, you just those are not the kind of things you want to back them with. Zach Collins went for 25. Buckets and Devontae Graham had 15 each. 39 assists. That's a season high. They did that without Keldon Johnson with left foot soreness and Trey Jones sick. Take it away for us, Brizzy. Second to last game on the board, Mavericks Spurs.
You want me to get into analysis or what I'm betting?
Either both.
Talk about a little bit of analysis. I mean, man, this Mavs team without Kyrie Irving, I mean, you'll probably see Jaden Hardy run the point, Josh Green run the 2, and I don't really care about anybody else. Those are the 2 players I really care about. The bigs for the Mavs are going to be horrible as usual. The Mavs are 1-7 ATS last 8 road games against a team with a losing record. So right off of there, I kind of don't want to bet the Mavericks, but what I like in this game is a trend that I've been circling for a while now for Spurs games is their first halves usually go under. I like the first half under 116.5 minus 112 in this game. Without Kyrie Irving on the floor for the Mavericks, I have their pace dropping. I mean, their pace going up, but their points per game going down. So I don't think the books have properly adjusted the first half total for Kyrie Irving not playing. So I like the first half under 116.5.
Yeah, I get it. Definitely get it. Mike M, by the way, he's on the Spurs. He says 0-8 spot for the Mavs. I mean, I guess I like the under too, because I mean, I do not expect the Spurs to score the way they were just scoring. What's going on with this total? It's dropped too fast. It's dropped too far. I can't, of course.
It's the reason why I like the first half, because the full game total has dropped really far.
Yeah. No, I like it. I did not expect them to shoot the way they've been shooting. So I just think it's just dropped a little too much for me to tail. But I think I expect that to succeed for you here. All right. Well, Brizzy, moving on. Dallas, San Antonio under 116.5.
Oh, yeah. Player prop wise, Josh Green over 1.5 3-pointers, minus 145.
Josh Green, you've done well with Green. Over one, and this is official?
Yeah, official minus 145. It's crazy because the last time we played this prop on this show, what was it, like plus 110 or like plus 106?
Well, you did the 2.5 and the 3.5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Now we're paying minus 145 juice for it, but sometimes you got to pay to play.
Let's keep rolling. You didn't get that second 3 though until late in that game. I was following along for you, and I was like, "Oh no!" And because they weren't there, I think they were way ahead, and I was like, "Is Green even going to come back on the floor?"
Same. Yeah, no, I remember that game very vividly. I think it was like the last shot attempt too, with like a minute left to hit it.
But you got there, and that's all that matters. Dan Kelly's to San Jose last 5. They're 4-1 to the over. Those 4 overs by an average of 15 points. Real Deal Prime, thank you so much for the dono. Says the value Billy brings to PSR is priceless. There it is. A shout out to our
Real Deal Prime.
Brisbane. Deshaun G. Why don't we let Deshaun G lead us into the next spot on the board? Clay Thompson over 3.5 threes at plus money on FanDuel. You know, my own. You know what? I get the look, but after how spectacular he looked last game, that just makes me a little hesitant. But maybe he's just hot right now. He talks about being as healthy as he's been in some time. Same with Embiid. Both Embiid and Klay Thompson are talking about how healthy they feel right now. Let's talk about this spot. Final game on our show. Golden State Warriors 36-33, 7-26 on the road at the LA Clippers 36-33, 18-15 at home. We're at Crypto. It's hard to believe that this Warriors team, you know, that some think can still make the NBA Finals, or some even say could win NBA championships, have more road wins than just the Spurs and the Rockets. That's it, by 1. It's just crazy. 7-26 on the road, and yet people believe this team can go on this monster run. It's pretty wild and pretty exciting, I guess, from a fan perspective. Warriors 2-3 over the past 5, playing at pace 102.47 possessions a game. Clip show 3-2, playing at pace 98.30 possessions a game. Talk about the line history here for this one. We have the Clippers opening up at -3. They're now -2.5. Half-point move towards the Warriors. Totals-wise, this opened up at 235. It's now up to 237. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have 33% of the tickets and 35% of the cash on the Warriors. Market seems to be concerned with that Warriors action. 56% of the tickets and 96% of cash on the over. A lot of big bets coming in on the over, and it's gone up 2 points from 235 to 237. So Warriors coming off their second straight win, 123-112 at home over the Suns on Monday. Clay made 8 threes in the first half, 33 points in the first half, finished with 38. Curry added 23. Wiggins, they've said that they don't think he's coming back now. So, you know, tough
personal issues too, not even injury.
Yeah, tough news coming out for Andrew Wiggins. Clippers coming off their third straight win, 106-95 at home over the Knicks Saturday. They bring in Russell Westbrook. They lose 5 straight, and now they've won 3 straight to open a 5-game homestand. So this is game 4 of a homestand. A spot I love, home game 4, 5-game homestand. So Kawhi went for 38. Paul George 22, 8 and 8, and they're starting to play much better defense. So they've given up 97.5 points and averaged 97 over the last 2 games. The first 6 they averaged 131.7, and Westbrook 7 points and 3 turnovers in 23 minutes per game over his last 2. You know, that's better. Those are the stats you can win with. Keep him on the bench. Storm and Norman Powell has been out since March 2nd, so 13 days with a shoulder injury. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Last game on our board, Warriors Clips.
Yeah, the Warriors have been really bad on the road, but of recent they've been really good. 5-1 ATS last 6 road games. So that does cause me a little bit of concerns because they're 8-23-1 ATS on the road this season, and pre-flop wise, kind of feels like a little bit of deja vu from last week when we were in the same exact spot scenario, and the Warriors were at home and the Clippers were on the road, and we wanted to bet the Clippers so bad in that spot, and the reason why we didn't is because we didn't want to fade Curry / we didn't want to fade the Warriors at home. Now we get the Clippers back at home about a week and a half later to a week later. I like the Clippers here in this spot. I didn't bet it though. It's just something about putting money against Steph Curry is something that it's is something that is just, it hurts, man. Like, I remember betting the Thunder to win that playoff series against the Warriors and watching that game 7 of Curry and Clay breaking the 3-point record in a single game. And those are things like that in my history that allow me not to bet against the Warriors. So I took Kevin Looney under 10.5 points and assists, -136. Kevin Looney has gone under 5 out of his last 6 games versus the Clippers. Generally doesn't get enough minutes, as Kerr likes to go with small ball lineups versus the Clippers, and he averages 15.3 points, rebounds, and assists, playing fewer than 25 minutes this season. So if you want to hit the points, rebounds, and assists, that number's moved a little bit to 18 in some spots, but there's still value on points and assists under 10.5 for Kevin Looney, -136.
So that was, just points and assists?
Points and assists for Kevin Looney under
10.5. And what was the juice?
-136.
-136. I want to back the Clips here. It sort of depends how you look at this spot. BetOnline opened this up with limits at -1. So since then, it's been a 1.5 move towards Clips. And also, within 20 minutes, they had to move it to -3. So since then, there's been some buyback on the Warriors. There'll always be. I think I'm going to move on the Clippers in this spot. They've not been good to me at home, but they're starting to play good basketball. And it helps keeping Westbrook sort of, on the bench, much to the dismay of our son Dizzle, who is a huge Westbrook fan. I want to back the Clippers here. I know this isn't the kind of road situation that we talk about with the Warriors, just because it is LA.
It's LA. They're 5-1 ATS last 6 road games. This isn't a true, in my opinion, this isn't a true road game for them. They're in LA. I mean, I get it. You see the Clippers are at home, but in reality, we know who that arena belongs to, the Lakers. So when you see the Clippers play at home, I mean, half the stadium is probably the other team, and half the stadium is going to be the Clippers. I wouldn't be surprised to see more Warriors fans in this game tonight than actual Clippers fans, to be honest with you. So, I mean, how true of a road game is it really? I get it, different gymnasium, but so there's some inherent risks about betting against Steph Curry that will we're betting chalk against Steph Curry. I don't know. It doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. This game reminds me of the Bucks and Suns from yesterday. And for anybody that backed the Suns, they got brutally beat down yesterday.
All right, well, let's review all action. First off, Dan Kelly on the Cavs, team total under 110.5. Then Briz got the Heat -3.5 and -115. I got a -4, -110. Dan Kelly talking about the over. I'm going to move on the over in Grizzlies Heat. Then I'm going to move on the under in Sacramento Chicago Bulls. Brizzy's on the Lakers at -148. LJ from H-Town gave us the Trill OG play of the day. It's the Rockets +1.5 in the first half. Jay Peasy is on Jabari Smith over 16 points. And, says the double-double at +215's hit 3 games in a row. Then Celtics Wolves, we stayed off, but Brizzy may make some additions there. Brizzy's on the Mavs.
The Anthony Davis point prop is definitely something that
you mean D'Angelo?
Interest. No, Anthony Edwards.
And Edwards. Okay.
Edwards in that Celtics game. It's very strong for his 27.5.
Dan Kelly's on the first half. Sacramento Chicago over. Ugh. So Dan, does that mean that, I know that you're not saying that, but does that mean you don't like the full game under in that spot? I may need to, please, if you could answer that. Then, so Brizzy's on Dallas Spurs first half under 116.5. Jalen Green over 1.5 threes. And then Kevon Looney points and assists under 10.5. And I'm going to be adding the clip show here to my action. And there you have it. There is our NBA. So you're heading off to the casino now for the weekend. So I imagine you're probably not going to be available for us tomorrow.
No, I'll be available tomorrow in the morning.
Okay.
What time?
What I guess we can do it whenever works for you, really. So are you going to still be here, or are you going to be off to the casino?
To be honest with you, life of a gambler, I'm figuring this out as
No worries. I'll stay in touch.
you're going.
I'll stay in touch with you, so don't worry. I'll be in touch with you, so no worries. Brizzy, my man, follow our guy Brizzy on Twitter at getting_bills. Brizzy, excellent work. Get that cash. If you add anything, hit me on tag me on a tweet.
Best bets on the betting with the bag.
Everybody wants to know best bets. Yeah, of course. What's your best bet?
Best bet: Miami Heat -4. Favorite prop of the day: Kevin Looney under 10.5 points and assists.
I love it. I love it. Brizzy, safe travels to the casino and get that papier, man. Get that cash.
Let's go, Texas Southern, baby. Y'all making me leave my goddamn state so I can bet against Fairlawn Dickinson. God damn it.
There he is. Billy Brisbane in the house, man. Going to go bet Texas Southern. All right, let's review all action. So I apologize for not time stamping the show yesterday. I don't know what the hell happened. I will do that here today. I will go timestamp it right now. Let's review all action. We're coming off a great day. 10-7 plus 2.67 units. In NHL, I'm already on the Sabres, and I'm going to add the Blues. It's going to be my only addition here. I'm going to be on the first half under in Fairleigh Dickinson, Texas Southern. I think I'm going to move on Arizona State. I think I will. The only other spot there is I believe I'm going to join Matty Ice on the Taint play today with Santa Clara on the over. I need to study it a little more. But I expect to. And then I'll be on UC Irvine. I need to get that in as soon as possible. And then we just reviewed NBA action. So tomorrow we'll start right with college basketball right off the hop. We'll have both Daby Cab and Connor Mack, and we'll get right into it. We have nothing without you guys. Thank you so much. Real Deal Prime, Rick, Jay, Dan Kelly, Slow Jams, Arsenal, Rants, Jean Perez, Velo Cuts, Deshaun G, Sun Dizzle, that's our headliner on Sunday night. So that's in 10 or 11 days at the Southtown 101, our stand-up comedian, one of the best stand-up comedians in North America, rocking with us. Millsy, Brian Watson, LJ from H-Town. He's on Steph over 4.5 threes. Jay Peasy, North Ender, BJ, AOD, Jimmy Gomez, Slow Jams, Arsenal, my guy, Andrew G, Rants. Tell me you didn't just say that. All you guys, thank you so much. Mike M, Robert Franklin, Cashman 19. Thank you guys. Piker. Thank you guys so much for your support. Truly have nothing without you. Rocky Menichetti, Mally Mal, Johnny Guns. Johnny Gunn says, "Do you notice a correlation on success rate the day after having a great day? Just curious." It's been a problem for me, Johnny Guns. I believe I'd have to go over, but I believe I have negative ROI. But one thing that does happen is winning. When you're winning, you make smarter decisions. So, and I didn't have a great day yesterday. So a day 2.67 units. I expect to have another winning day today. When I go up 9 units in a day, I tend to give something back the next day because I'm a little hesitant. But no, a day like yesterday and in a week like last week, that's when I start stringing winning days together. Just a ho-hum day. 10-7 plus 2.67 units. Let's go. That's that works. That works for me. So, but it's when you pick up, when for me, with my unit size, when I pick up over a K, that's fine. When I get to like 1.7, 1.8 on a day or closer to 2K, that's when I kind of give some back the next day. But Johnny Guns, so a big day. I get too pensive the next day, but just it was whole hum day yesterday, up 2.67 units. We're gonna string them all together. Brian Smith, respect. Thank you for jumping on the show. Jarek White, oh wow, okay, interesting comedy drama by Bob Odenkirk. I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Thank you for sharing that with me. Real Deal Prime, thank you so much for the dono, man. You're such a great friend of the show. Thank you for thinking about us. I know it's hard-earned money, so thank you. So on behalf of all of us here at Pub Sports Radio, let's get that cash. Please enter our contest. The more people that enter, the more that we can do. So please join us for our contest. It's on our website, and we're all going to be battling against each other. We'll be talking about it, and so please join us for the Pub Sports Radio March Madness contest. BJ, respect. got to cheer that 1K bet heavy for you, BJ. I'll be cheering heavy, man. Get that cash with the Lakers. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good luck with your tourney prep. And, you know how we do. Roll that shit, light that shit, smoke it. Leche, Los Bookmakers. Let's go. And thank you.